Welcome. Let's begin our journey into the secret of secrets. Chapter 1, Animus and Anima. Let us start with the words of Master Lutzu. Master Lutzu said, "That which exists through itself is called the way, or Tao. Tao has neither name nor shape. It is the one essence, the one primal spirit. Essence and life cannot be seen. They are contained in the light of heaven. The light of heaven cannot be seen. It is contained in the two eyes. The Great One is the term given to that which has nothing above it. The secret of the magic of life consists in using action in order to attain non-action. The golden flower is the light. One uses the golden flower as a symbol. The phrase, "the lead of the water region has but one taste," refers to it. The work on the circulation of the light depends entirely on the backward flowing movement, so that the thoughts are gathered together. The heavenly heart lies between sun and moon. The Book of the Yellow Castle says, "In the square-inch field of the square-foot house, life can be regulated. In the middle of the square inch dwells the splendor. In the purple hall of the city of jade dwells the God of utmost emptiness and life." Therefore, when the light circulates, the energies of the whole body appear before its throne. It is as when a holy king has established the capital and has laid down the fundamental rules of order, all the states approach with tribute. Or, as when the master is quiet and calm, men servants and maids obey his orders of their own accord, and each does his work. Therefore, you only have to make the light circulate. That is the deepest and most wonderful secret. The light is easy to move, but difficult to fix. If it is made to circulate long enough, then it crystallizes itself. It is the condition of which it is said, "Silently thou fliest upward in the morning." In carrying out this fundamental principle, you need to seek for no other methods, but must only concentrate your thoughts on it. By collecting the thoughts, one can fly and will be born in heaven. The golden flower is the elixir of life. Although it works very accurately, it is yet so fluid that it needs extreme intelligence and clarity, and the most complete absorption and tranquility. People without this highest degree of intelligence and understanding do not find the way. People without this utmost capacity for absorption and tranquility cannot keep fast hold of it. Let me tell you a parable. Once there was a very rich magician who had a great many sheep. But at the same time, this magician was very mean. He did not want to hire shepherds, nor did he want to build a fence around the pasture where his sheep were grazing. As a result, the sheep often wandered into the forest, fell into ravines, and so on. Above all, they ran away, for they knew that the magician wanted their flesh and skins, and they did not like this. At last, the magician found a remedy. He hypnotized his sheep. First, he suggested to them that they were immortal and that no harm was being done to them when they were skinned. On the contrary, he told them it would be very good for them and even pleasant. Second, he suggested that the magician was a good master who loved his flock so much that he was ready to do anything in the world for them. And in the third place, he suggested to them that if anything at all were going to happen to them, it was not going to happen just then, at any rate not that day, and therefore they had no need to think about it. Finally, the magician suggested to his sheep that they were not sheep at all. To some, he suggested that they were lions, to others that they were eagles, to others that they were men, and to others that they were magicians. After this, all his cares and worries about the sheep came to an end. They never ran away again, but quietly awaited the time when the magician would require their flesh and their skins. The teacher George Gurdjieff loved this parable very much. His whole philosophy is contained in this small story, and this parable represents humanity in its ordinary state of unconsciousness. It is one of the most beautiful illustrations of man as he is. Man is a machine. Man is not born to be a machine, but man lives like a machine and dies like a machine. Man has the seed of a great flowering of consciousness, the possibility to become God, but that doesn't happen. It does not happen because man has been hypnotized by the society, by the state, by the organized church, by vested interests. Society needs slaves, and a person can remain a slave only if he is not allowed to grow to his fullest potential. Society needs your flesh and your skins, and naturally nobody likes it. Hence, the whole process of socialization, of civilization, is nothing but a deep hypnosis. Man is being hypnotized from the very moment he is born. He is hypnotized to believe that society exists in his favor, for his own good. That is utterly wrong. He is being hypnotized to believe that he is immortal. He is not. He can be, but he is not. And if the hypnosis persists, he will never be immortal. You live only as a mortal being because you live in the body. The body is going to die. That which is born is bound to die. Birth is the beginning of the body, and death is the end. Do you know anything in you which is more than the body? Have you experienced anything higher or deeper than the body? Have you seen anything in you which was there even before you were born? If you have seen that, then you are immortal. If you know your original face, the face that you had before you were born, then you know you will be there after death too. Otherwise you won't. Man can be an immortal, but he lives surrounded by death because he lives identified with the body. Society does not allow you to know more than the body. Society is interested only in your body. Your body can be put to use. Your soul is dangerous. A person of soul is always dangerous because a person of soul is a free person. He cannot be reduced to slavery. A person who has an immortal soul in him has a deeper commitment to existence itself, to God himself. He does not care a bit about the man-made structures of society, civilization, and culture. These are prison cells for him. He does not exist as a Christian or a Hindu or a Mohammedan. He cannot be part of a crowd. He exists as an individual. The body is part of a crowd. Your soul is not. Your soul is deeply individual. Its flavor is that of freedom. But your soul cannot be put to any use in the marketplace. Society needs only your body. And it is very dangerous for society if you start striving for the soul, because then your interest changes. You turn from being an extrovert into an introvert. You start moving inwards. Society is outside. Society wants you to remain an extrovert, interested in money, power, prestige, and all that, so that your energy keeps moving outwards. If you start moving inwards, that means you have become a dropout. You are no longer part of the game being played on the outside. You don't belong to it. You start diving deep within your own being, and there lies the source of immortality. Society prevents you from going inwards, and the best way to do that is to give you a false idea that you are going inwards. The magician told the sheep that they were lions, suggested to them that they were immortals, hypnotized them into believing that they were not only men but great magicians. When you go to a church, you are not going inwards. When you go to a temple, you are not going inwards. But society has hypnotized you to believe that if you want to go inwards, you should go to the church. But the church is as much outside as anything else. Society has hypnotized you to believe that if you want to go inwards, you should go to the priest. And the priest is an agent of the state and society. The priest has always been against the mystics, because if you go to a mystic, you will truly start moving inwards. A mystic lives in a totally different way. His energy moves in a different pattern. His river moves inwards. So, one who comes to a mystic and falls in tune with him will start moving inwards naturally, simply, spontaneously. That is the whole purpose of being with a master, with a mystic. This book, The Secret of the Golden Flower, is one of the most esoteric treatises in the world. It will show you the way to become more than the body. It will show you the way to go beyond death. It will show you the way to bloom, how not to remain a seed but to become a golden flower. What in India we have called the 1,000-petaled lotus, in China they call the golden flower. It is a symbol. The flower represents perfection, totality. The flower represents the ultimate expression of potential, the actualization of that potential. The flower represents the beauty, the grandeur, the splendor of being. And unless you have become a 1,000-petaled lotus or a golden flower, remember you have a long way to go. Remember that you have to get out of the traps that society has put around you. Remember that you have not yet done the work for which you have come to the earth. Remember you are just a seed, not yet a soul. This treatise, The Secret of the Golden Flower, is very ancient, possibly one of the most ancient in the world. It is certainly 25 centuries old, and it is likely older than that. But 25 centuries can be traced back very easily. This treatise is also a great synthesis of all the major religions. That is rare, unique. The Bible belongs to Christians, the Talmud to Jews, the Vedas to Hindus, the Dhammapada to Buddhists, the Tao Te Ching to Taoists. But this small book, The Secret of the Golden Flower, belongs to no one in particular, or rather it belongs to all. It is deeply based in Taoist teachings. It is a flowering of the Taoist approach to life and existence. But it is not only that. Zarathustra has played a role. His teachings have been incorporated into it. Buddhist teachings have also been incorporated, and a certain esoteric school of Christians, the Nestorians, have also played their part. So Christianity and Judaism also have become part of it. It is one of the most synthetic approaches. It combines all that is beautiful in all the traditions of the world. For centuries, it was only transmitted orally, and the book remained esoteric. It was not available to the public because it has something very secret to teach. It was available only to disciples. The master would tell the disciple only when the time was ripe, because it gives you such a potent secret that if you don't understand it correctly, if you do something wrong with it, there are bound to be harmful effects. It has to be understood rightly, and it has to be worked at only in the presence of a master. It is a powerful method, as powerful as atomic energy. The secrets of atomic energy are kept hidden from the public. Once they start leaking out, there is going to be great danger. If people can manufacture atom bombs privately, there is bound to be chaos. Great secrecy is maintained about atomic research. In exactly the same way, this book teaches you one of the most potent methods of inner explosion. For centuries, the secrets were guarded, only given to disciples in privacy, in intimacy. And the people who followed this particular esoteric school resisted all temptations to write the book. In fact, all the religions of the world have long resisted writing their spiritual teachings. There is a certain beauty when something is transferred orally. It is alive, for one thing. The master is behind it. It's not a dead word. The word has a soul. It has wings. The experience of the master supports it. The master is a witness to it. It is not just speculation, not only a philosophy, but something existential, experienced, lived. And the master has traveled the path. He knows the dangers. He knows the pitfalls. He knows the points at which people go astray, and he will take every care so that the disciple cannot go astray. The closer you come to the truth, the greater the possibility of going astray, because when you come closer to the truth, you can become very egoistic. You might think, now I know, or now I am, and if the ego exploits the situation, you will fall back into your old dark valley. You will lose the peak. When you come closer to the truth, a great desire arises to share it with people, but you have not yet attained it in its wholeness. And it is dangerous to share half-truths because half-truths are more dangerous than lies, as they are powerful. Lies are impotent. Sooner or later, people will find out it's a lie. But a half-truth can persist for centuries and have effects for centuries. Nobody can reach the truth through a half-truth, and the person who travels half the way will belong neither to this world nor to the other. He will be in a limbo, and that is a very strange situation to be in. You lose the old, and you don't gain the new. You become a chaos. The old order is gone, and the new has not happened. You become a cloud. You become confusion. Rather than becoming clearer, more alive, more full of light, your life becomes a conflict between two polarities. You are pulled apart. You start falling into pieces. Half of you belongs to the earth, and half of you belongs to the sky. Now you are nowhere. Now you are nobody. This can create madness. So for centuries, the secret of the golden flower was only conveyed orally. Secondly, with an oral tradition, the book remains always alive. That's how it became a synthesis. Basically, it was born in the Taoist climate of China. But then Bodhidharma reached China, a new master with a new message from India, Buddha's message. And the people who were following the secret of the golden flower were very open people. They were not part of any established church. They could immediately see that Bodhidharma also had it. It was so apparent, so manifest. They allowed Bodhidharma's teachings to be part of their teaching. The same thing happened with Zoroastrian masters and with Nestorian Christians. Again and again, something came to China, and if it was worthwhile, it was incorporated. An oral teaching remains alive, growing like a river. New streams of water come and become part of it. Once a teaching is written, it cannot incorporate anything anymore. Then it becomes rigid, it loses fluidity, it becomes dead, it is a corpse. For centuries, the secret of the golden flower has not grown. Since it has been written down, it has not grown. Why have I chosen to speak on it so that it can still grow? It is such a beautiful message to the world that it should not die. I would like to revive it. And now I can talk to people who are disciples, who have come to me and who are ready to die in order to be reborn, who are ready to die for flowering. The seed has to die, only then can it grow. The seed has to disappear, only then can the tree happen. I will be speaking to you on this small but immensely valuable book so that it can become alive again. It can become alive between you and me. It can start flowing once more, and it has something of immense importance. If you understand it and if you practice it, you will be enriched. But the first thing to understand is this. Remember that you have been hypnotized, and you have to go through a dehypnotizing process. Remember that you have been conditioned, and you have to be unconditioned. Remember that death is coming. Don't think that it's not going to happen today. It can happen any moment. In fact, all that happens always happens now. The seed dies now. The bud becomes the flower now. The bird starts calling now. All that ever happens only in the space made available by now, this moment. Nothing ever happens in the past, and nothing ever happens in the future. All that happens always happens in the present. That is the only way for things to happen, because the present is the only time there is. Past is just your memory, and future is just your imagination. But you have been hypnotized to live in the past, and you have been hypnotized to live in the future. Choose either past or future, but no society allows you to live in the present. Christians, Hindus, and Mohammedans, they condition you to live in the past. Their golden age was in the past. Communists, socialists, fascists, they condition you to live in the future. Their golden age is in the future. The utopia is coming. When the revolution comes, they say, then you'll be able to really live, then there will be a golden age. Either you are taken to the past, which is false, or to the future, which is again false. No society tells you to live in the present, in the here now. To be a sannyasin, to be a real seeker, means to live here now. And there is no other life. But for that, you will have to de-automatize yourself. You will have to become a man and not a machine. You will have to become a little more conscious. You are not conscious. Once I was sitting by the side of a dying man. He was a professor in the same university where I was a professor. He was at the pinnacle of his successful career. And then came the heart attack, which always comes when you are at the pinnacle. Success is always followed by a heart attack. What else can you have after it? So he had a heart attack and he was dying. I went to see him. He was very sad. Who wants to die? And he was in great despair and anguish. I told him, "You need not worry. You're not going to die." He said, "What are you saying?" "But all the doctors say that there is no possibility of my survival. On what grounds are you saying that I'm not going to die?" I said, "You cannot die in the first place because you never lived. You have not fulfilled the first requirement for dying. For these 55 years you have been sleepwalking. You have dreamt. You have not lived. I have watched you for years." He was shocked. He was angry. So angry that for a moment he forgot all about death. His eyes were aflame with anger, and he said, "Is this the way to treat a dying man? Can't you be a little courteous? Why are you so hard on me? I am dying, and you are talking such great philosophy. You never lived. Is this the time to say such things?" I listened silently. I just became absolutely silent. Then the rage disappeared, and he started crying, and great tears came to his eyes. He held my hand with great love, and then he said, "Maybe you are right. I never lived. Maybe you are not rude. You are just being true, and I know nobody else would have said this to me." Then great gratitude came over him, and for a moment he became so conscious that one could have seen the light on his face. It was there. He was all aura, and he thanked me. That night he died. I remained with him to the last moment, and he said, "If you had not been here, I would have missed my death too, as I have missed my life. But I am dying consciously. At least one thing I am happy about, I'm not dying unconsciously." And his death was beautiful. He died without any regret. He died in a relaxed way. He died almost with a welcoming heart, full of gratitude. He died prayerfully. His next life is bound to have a different quality. If death is so beautiful, it brings a new life to you. But one has to live each moment, whether it is of life, of love, of anger, of death. Whatsoever it is, one has to live each moment as consciously as possible. A peasant, carried away by his imagination, found himself in a vegetable garden stealing cucumbers. He thought, I'll carry off this sack of cucumbers, and with the money I get for them, I'll buy a hen. The hen will lay eggs, she will sit on them and hatch a brood of chicks, and I'll feed the chicks till they grow. Then I'll sell them and buy a suckling pig. I'll feed the suckling pig till it grows into a sow. I'll breed her, and she'll have a litter of pigs, and I'll sell them. With the money I get for the pigs, I'll buy a house with a garden. I'll plant cucumbers in the garden, and I won't let anyone steal them. I'll keep guard over them. I'll hire a strong watchman, and from time to time I'll go out to the garden and shout, "Hey you, take care!" The peasant was so carried away by this thought that he shouted at the top of his voice. The watchman heard him and came running. He caught the peasant and gave him a good thrashing. But this is how we live, in dreams, in imagination, in projections. This is how you live, and this is not the way to live this beautiful, tremendously valuable life. This is sheer wastage. You have to become more attentive to the moment, to the present. You have to gather your consciousness. Consciousness is your treasure. And all the methods that have been invented and devised down the centuries are nothing but ways to create more consciousness in you, to create more fire in you, to make your life a passionate affair, a flame. People are living dull lives. People are living absent-mindedly. People are living inattentively. How can you live with so much inattention around you? Inattention is darkness. Attention is light. And this treatise will teach you how to create more light in you, so that one day, the golden flower. Two psychiatrists met on the street. "You're feeling fine," said one. "How am I doing?" People are asking each other. Nobody knows how they are doing. They are looking into each other's eyes, gathering information about themselves from others. That's why the opinion of others has become so important. If somebody says you are a fool, you become angry. Why? Or you become sad. Why? You are shattered. You were thinking you were a wise person because others had told you that you are wise. It was the opinion of others that you depended on. Now somebody else says you're a fool. He can easily shatter your wisdom, very easily. He has thrown a stone and you had made a palace with playing cards. Now all is shattered. That's why one becomes so angry, so enraged, so violent, and one becomes so worried, so anxious. You are continuously looking for what others are thinking because you know only that which others think about you. You don't know anything about yourself. Now, what kind of situation is this? If I cannot know about myself, who else can know about me? From the outside, nobody can watch me. I am not available that way. From the outside, only my body can be watched. From the inside, I can know my consciousness. Even when you stand before a mirror, you see only your body. You cannot see your consciousness in the mirror. Even you cannot see it in the mirror, your own consciousness. You have to see it directly. It's never mirrored, it is never reflected in anything, it is invisible. You have to close your eyes and be it, and that is the only way of knowing it. But people live so unconsciously. They simply live by the opinion of others. What others say becomes their soul. Others can take it away at any moment. People remain beggars. Have you known anything about yourself directly? Have you ever encountered yourself directly without bringing the opinion of others into it? If you have not done it, you have not yet lived. Life starts only by encountering oneself, by seeing oneself directly, immediately. Life exists only when you are capable of seeing yourself as you are, not as others think about you. What can they think about you? What can they say about you? They can watch your behavior. They cannot watch you. If you want to watch yourself, only you can do that, nobody else. It cannot be done by servants. It cannot be delegated to somebody else. It cannot be done by the experts either. But we are so interested in others' opinions because we are absolutely absent. There is nobody awake inside. Deeply asleep, we are snoring inside. The absent-minded professor went in for a haircut. He sat down in the barber's chair but didn't remove his hat. "I'm afraid you will have to take off your hat," said the barber. "Oh, I'm sorry," said the professor. "I didn't know there were ladies present." Watch your own absent-mindedness. Watching it will create attentiveness in you. Watch what is happening within you, thoughts passing, memories arising, a cloud of anger, a dark night of sadness, or a beautiful morning of joy. Watch all that passes in you. Become more and more watchful. Slowly, slowly, you will become an integrated watchfulness. And the method taught by the secret of the golden flower is how to become integrated in your inner light. This is the story of this book before we enter into the sutras. The book comes from an esoteric circle in China. The founder of this esoteric circle is said to have been the well-known Taoist adept, Lu Yen. Where did Lu Yen get this secret teaching? He himself attributes it to Master Kuan Yu Shi, for whom, according to tradition, Lao Tzu wrote down his Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu never wrote a single word in his whole life. He declined again and again the invitation to write anything. He conveyed to his disciples what he had come to know, but he was not ready to write, because he said, "The Tao which can be said is not the true Tao. The Tao which can be expressed is already falsified. It can be learned only in intimate contact with the Master. There is no other way of communicating it. It can only be learned in a deep communion where the disciple and the Master meet, where the disciple holds nothing back, where the disciple and the Master overlap, where their consciousnesses merge into each other. Only in such a meeting, communion, can Tao be conveyed." So he refused again and again. He lived a long life, but when he was going to die, he left China on a water buffalo. Why on a water buffalo? His whole teaching had been the teaching of the watercourse way. He said one should be like water, flowing, fluid, fresh, always moving towards the ocean, and one should be like water, soft, feminine, receptive, loving, non-violent. One should not be like a rock. The rock appears to be very strong but is not, and water appears to be very weak but is not. Never be deceived by appearances. Finally, the water wins over the rock, and the rock is destroyed and becomes sand and is taken to the sea. The rock disappears finally, against the soft water. The rock is masculine. It is the male mind, the aggressive mind. Water is feminine, soft, loving, not aggressive at all. But the non-aggressive wins. The water is always ready to surrender, but through surrender it conquers. That is the way of the woman. The woman always surrenders and conquers through it. And the man wants to conquer, and the ultimate result is just a surrender and nothing else. Hence, he chose a water buffalo when he left the country. Where was he going? He was going to the Himalayas to die into that eternal beauty. A real person knows how to live and how to die. A real person lives totally, dies totally. A real person lives in benediction and dies in benediction. He was going into absolute aloneness in the Himalayas, but he was caught on the border. And the man who caught him on the border was Master Kuan Yu Shi. He was a guard at the last post of the Chinese border. Lao Tzu had to pass that post. There was no other way to get out of the country. And Kuan Yu Shi persuaded him, saying, "You are going to die, you are leaving the country forever, and soon you will be leaving the body. Please write just a few words, and I won't allow you to get out of the land if you don't write them. This price you have to pay." And Lao Tzu had to sit in Kuan Yu Shi's hut for 3 days, and there he wrote the Tao Te Ching. The tradition of the secret of the golden flower is said to have originated with Lu Yen. Lu Yen himself attributes it to Master Kuan Yu Shi, for whom, according to tradition, Lao Tzu wrote down his Tao Te Ching. Kuan means the Hanku Pass, hence he is called Master Kuan, that is, Master of the Hanku Pass. And he must have been a great adept, otherwise it would have been impossible to persuade Lao Tzu to write. His whole life he had declined. He could not decline the invitation of this man. This man must have had something that it was impossible even for Lao Tzu to say no to. This is how the tradition of the golden flower is connected with Lao Tzu. But it didn't start with Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu himself says that whatsoever he is saying has been said before, again and again, down the centuries. He is not bringing a new truth into the world, but only a new expression. It is always so. Truth is the same, only expressions differ. What Lao Tzu said is the same as what Krishna had said before him. What Krishna said is the same as what Buddha said later on. What Buddha has said is the same as Muhammad, as Jesus, as Zarathustra have said. Although their expressions are so different that you will need great intelligence to see to the very core. The structure is different, the language is different, their ways of saying it are different, naturally because they are different persons, different individuals, with their own uniqueness. But truth is neither new nor old, and wherever truth is, it is eternal. The book, The Secret of the Golden Flower, is one of the eternal sources where one can again become alive. One can again find the door to the divine. Now for the sutras. Master Lao Tzu said, "That which exists through itself is called the way, or Tao." The word Tao essentially means the way. Nothing can be said about the goal. The goal remains elusive, inexpressible, ineffable. But something can be said about the way. Hence, Taoists have never used the word God, truth, or nirvana. No, they simply use the word way. Buddha says Buddhas can only show you the way. If you follow the path, you will reach the truth. Truth will have to be your own experience. Nobody can define the truth, but the way can be defined. The way can be made clear. The master cannot give you the truth, but the master can give you the way. And once the way is there, then all that is needed is to walk on it. That has to be done by the disciple. I cannot walk for you, and I cannot eat for you. I cannot live for you, and I cannot die for you. These things have to be done by oneself. But I can show the way. I have walked on the way. Tao simply means the way. That which exists through itself is called the way. And the definition is beautiful. Lao Tzu says, "That which exists by itself, that which needs nobody else's support, that which has always existed whether you walk on it or not. Whether anybody walks on it or not does not matter. It always exists. In fact, the whole of existence follows it unknowingly. If you can follow it knowingly, your life will become a great blessing. If you follow it unknowingly, then you will go on stumbling. Then you cannot enjoy it as it should be enjoyed." A person can be brought into a garden and he may be unconscious. He may be drunk, or he may be in a coma or under the impact of chloroform. He can be brought into the garden, but he is unconscious. The songs of the birds will be heard by his ears, but he will not know. And the fragrance of the flowers will come riding on the breeze to his nostrils, but he will not know. And the sun will shine on him, and will shower light on him, but he will not know. And the breeze will caress him, but he will not know. And you can put him under the shade of a big tree and its coolness, but he will not know. That's how we are. We are in Tao, because where else can we be? To live is to be on the way. To live is to live in God. To breathe is to breathe in God. Where else can we be? But just as the fish lives in the ocean and is completely oblivious of the ocean, we are living in Tao and are completely oblivious of Tao. In fact, it is so obvious, that's why we are so oblivious. The fish knows the ocean so well. The fish is born in it, has never been out of it, takes it for granted. Hence, the fish is not aware of it. We are on the way. We are in God. We live in Tao, through Tao, but we are not aware of it. The Tao exists, because without the Tao, trees will not grow, and stars will not move, and the blood will not circulate, and the breath will not come in. Life will disappear. Life is possible only if there is a fundamental law holding it. Life is possible only if there is something that supports it. Look at the immense order in existence. It is not a chaos, it is a cosmos. What makes it a cosmos? Why is there so much harmony? There must be a law that keeps the harmony going, flowing, keeps everything in accord. But we don't know about it. We don't know anything about our own being, and we are joined through our being with Tao. Tao has neither name nor shape. It is the one essence, the one primal spirit. It is the ocean of life that surrounds us. It is within and without, the pure essence. It is existence. It is the primal spirit. No name can contain it. All names are its name, and no shape is particular to it, because all shapes are Tao's shape. Tao exists in millions of forms. In the tree it is green, in the flower it is red, in man it is man, in fish it is fish. It is the same law. You can replace the word Tao with God, and it will be the same. What Christians and Mohammedans call God, Taoists call Tao. Buddhists call it Dharma, Jews used to call it Logos, but they mean the same thing. No name can contain it, or it can be expressed by any name. Essence and life cannot be seen. They are contained in the light of heaven. The light of heaven cannot be seen. It is contained in the two eyes. You can see the form, you can see the body. The body is the form, the substance that surrounds the essence, but you cannot see the essence. The essence is invisible to the eyes, unapproachable by the senses. It has to be felt immediately, not through any medium. You see my body, I see your body. It is through a medium. My eyes are telling me you are here. Your eyes are telling you that I am here, but who knows? The eyes may be deceiving. They do deceive sometimes. In the night, in the dark, you see a rope as if it were a snake, and when you see it as a snake, it affects you as a snake. You are afraid, you start running, or you can see in the desert an oasis which is not there, which is only a projected phenomenon because you are so thirsty that you want it to be there, so you create it there. Eyes deceive many times, so who knows? If truth is known through a medium, then it will always remain suspect, doubtful. It can't have any certainty, absolute certainty it can't have. And a truth which is not absolutely certain is not truth at all. The truth has to be absolutely certain. It cannot be approximately certain. Then there is only one way. It should be known without a medium. One should know it directly, immediately. One should know it without any senses, and that's how it is known. You cannot see life, but you can feel it. It is a subjective experience, not an object. Essence and life cannot be seen. They are contained in the light of heaven. The light of heaven cannot be seen. It is contained in the two eyes. You have these two eyes. For Taoists, these two eyes are very significant. Only modern science has been able to see the truth of it. These two eyes are not only the visible eyes. These two eyes represent the male and the female in you. Now, modern science says that the brain of man is divided into two hemispheres, and one hemisphere is male, the other is female. The right side of your mind is feminine, and the left side is masculine. So your one eye represents the male in you, and your other eye represents the female in you. And when your male and female meet inside you, that meeting is what is called heaven. That meeting, that inner communion of your male and female. Jesus says, when your two eyes become one, there will be light. He is talking like a Taoist alchemist. When your two eyes become one, there will be light. When your two eyes become one, when your male and female disappear into each other, that is the ultimate orgasmic experience. What you feel making love to a woman or to a man is only a glimpse of it, a very fleeting glimpse. It is so momentary that by the time you become aware of it, it is already gone. You become aware of it only in the past. It is so fleeting, but it is a glimpse of the meeting of the man and the woman. This is an exterior meeting. It is a miracle that it happens even for a single moment, but there is a deep possibility, and that has been the work of Tantra, Tao, Yoga, and all the great secret teachings of the world, to help you become aware of your feminine and your masculine inside. Tantrikas call this Shiva and Shakti, and Taoists call it yin and yang. The polarity, the positive and negative in you, the day and night in you, they have to meet there. The light of heaven cannot be seen. It is contained in the two eyes, but unless they become one, you will not become aware of it. It is contained in the two eyes, but you cannot see it unless they become one. Then it is released. Then there is a great explosion of light. Zarathustra calls it an explosion of fire. Lao Tzu calls it an explosion of light. It is the same. You must have come across the statement of John the Baptist. He used to say to his disciples, I baptize you with water. After me shall come one who will baptize you with fire. That's what he meant when he said, after me there will come one who will baptize you with fire. The baptism of water is an outer baptism. To John the Baptist, water represents the outward flow. Remember this, that the outward and the downward are synonymous, and the upward and the inward are synonymous. Whatsoever goes downward also goes outward, and whatsoever goes upward also goes inward, and vice versa. Water always goes downward, hence it represents an outward flow. It goes away from itself. Its journey is an exterior journey. Fire goes upward, always upward, and upward is synonymous with the inward. Its journey is always interior. John the Baptist is saying, I am baptizing you with water. I am giving you the outer body of the religion. After me will come Christ, who will give you the inner baptism, the baptism of fire. Jesus himself again and again says, "Repent, repent ye." And the word has fallen into a wrong interpretation with Christians. They have made it repentance for misdeeds. It has nothing to do with misdeeds. The word repent actually means return, go in, go back. It means turn back, restore your originality. The word repent means metanoia, turning back, a 180-degree turn. If you go on flowing outwards, you remain water. If you turn in, you become fire. And when the two eyes, when these two flames, when these two hemispheres of your consciousness join together, are absolutely bridged, and you become one flame. That one flame is what Plotinus calls the flight of the alone to the alone. The Great One is the term given to that which has nothing above it. And if you can become that one, you have become the Great One. This is the Taoist way of saying something about God without using the word God. If you become one, you have become God. The secret of the magic of life consists in using action in order to attain non-action. These are potent words. What is the secret of making these two eyes one? How to make the male and the female one in you? How to let your woman and man dissolve into each other so that you are no more a duality, so that you are no more a house divided against itself, so that there is no longer any conflict and tension, so that all is one? In that oneness is bliss, because all tension disappears, all conflict disappears, all anxiety disappears. How to become that one? The secret of the magic of life consists in using action in order to attain non-action. Man represents action, woman represents non-action. You have to use action to attain non-action. You have to make an effort to become effortless. You have to go and put in all your energies. You have to become so active that nothing is left behind. All energy becomes involved in that creativity, and then suddenly, when all energy is involved, a transformation happens. Just as at 100 degrees water evaporates, action, when it becomes total, evaporates, and non-action is left behind. First, you have to learn how to dance, and you have to put all your energies into dancing. And one day that strange experience happens when suddenly the dancer disappears in the dance, and the dance happens without any effort. Then it is inaction. First, you have to learn action to go into inaction. That's what meditation is all about. People come and ask me why I teach active meditations, because that is the only way to find inaction. Dance to the uttermost, dance in a frenzy, dance madly, and if your whole energy is involved in it, a moment comes when suddenly you see the dance is happening on its own. There is no effort in it. It is action without action. The golden flower is the light. One uses the golden flower as a symbol. The phrase, "the lead of the water region has but one taste," refers to it. The golden flower is a symbol, the symbol of when your energies are no more dual and have become one. Great light is released, and the light is golden. It is as if a flower of golden light has opened in you. And it is not just a symbol, it is a symbol, but it is almost literally true. It happens exactly like that. Right now you exist as a darkness, as a dark night. Then you exist as a sunrise. You cannot see the sun anywhere, but the light is there. There is no source to it. It is a sourceless light. But once you have known that golden light in you, you have become an immortal. Then there is no death, because the light never dies. The whole of life, the whole of existence, consists of nothing but light. All are forms of light. You can ask modern physics too, and modern physics is in perfect agreement with Tao that all is light. Forms go on changing, but the light continues. Light is eternal. Many scriptures of the world begin with the word light. In the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." That is the beginning. If there was ever a beginning, it could not have been otherwise. It had to have been with light. But there has never been a beginning. This is just a parable. Light has existed always. The Quran says God is light. One of the names of God given by the Sufis is Nur. Nur means light. And the taste is the same. Whether it happens in me or it happens in you, the taste is the same. The taste of Buddhahood is the same. Buddha has said, "The taste of Buddhahood is like the ocean. You can taste it from the north or from the south, from this part or from that part, from the shore or from the middle, But the taste of the ocean is the same, so is the taste of Buddhahood. The moment a person attains to this eternal light, his life has a single flavor. That flavor is contained by absolute awareness. His unconscious has disappeared. There is no longer any dark part in his being. Now, if a Freudian looks into such a person, he will find only consciousness, only consciousness. He will not find the unconscious. If a Freudian looks into you, only one part is conscious. Against this one part, there are 9 parts which are unconscious. Only 1/10 of your mind is conscious. A Buddha is 100% consciousness. The work on the circulation of the light depends entirely on the backward flowing movement, so that the thoughts are gathered together. The heavenly heart lies between sun and moon. Again, remember, the sun represents the male energy, and the moon represents the feminine energy. And the heart lies between the two. The heart is neither male nor female, and that is the beauty of the heart. The heart is divine, neither male nor female, and it lies exactly between the two. If you are leaning too much towards the male energy, you are too active, and you don't know how to be passive. That's what has happened in the West. The West is sun-oriented, too much activity. People are driving themselves mad with their activity. Too much speed, everything has to be done immediately, no patience, no waiting. They have forgotten how to be passive, how to be patient, how to wait for things. They have lost all capacity to be inactive. They don't know how to go on a holiday. Even if they go on a holiday, they are more active than ever. More people have heart attacks on Sunday in the West than on any other day because it is a holiday, and people are too occupied. The whole working week, they think they will rest when the holiday comes, and when the holiday comes, they have 1,001 things to do. Not that they have to do them, that they are needed. No, not at all. But they cannot live in rest. They cannot just lie down on the lawn and be with the earth. They cannot just sit silently under a tree and do nothing. No, they will start doing 1,001 things around the house. They will fix this and unfix that. They will open their car engines and start doing things to it. They will do something, but they will remain active. Their whole life, people think that when they are retired, then they will enjoy. But they cannot enjoy, they cannot rest. People die very fast once they become retired. Psychologists say they die 10 years earlier because they don't know what else to do. Death seems the only way to get rid of a life which has become meaningless, which has always been meaningless, which has been just a rush. People are rushing, not knowing where they are going. All that they know is they have to go fast and faster and faster without ever worrying, where exactly are you going? You may be running in a circle. That is exactly what is happening. People are running in a circle. The West is sun-oriented. The East is moon-oriented. The East has become too passive, too fatalistic. Nothing has to be done. Simply wait. God will do it. This is another kind of foolishness and stupidity. The East is poor, lazy, lousy, and people are not worried by anything. The misery all around, the poverty, the beggars, the illness, nobody is worried. Everything is accepted. What can you do? It is God's will. We have to accept. We have just to wait. When things get too much, God will come. What else can we do? This is the feminine mind. The secret of the golden flower says you have to be exactly in the middle, neither male nor female, no leaning to any extreme. Then there is balance. Then one is active and yet remains inactive deep inside. Then one is inactive and yet remains active on the outside. On the outside, be sun-oriented. On the inside, be moon-oriented. Let sun and moon meet in you, and you be just exactly in the middle. And in the middle is transcendence. The work on the circulation of the light depends entirely on the backward-flowing movement, so that the thoughts are gathered together. Man is a center and also a circumference. If you move towards the circumference, then you will have many thoughts. The circumference consists of the many. The center is one. If you move towards the center, thoughts start disappearing. At the very core, all thoughts disappear. There is only awareness. That's what this secret treatise says, so that the thoughts are gathered together. The light has to move inwards. When you look at a tree, your eyes are throwing their light on the tree. The light is moving outward. When you close your eyes, the light starts turning inward. Metanoia, repent, return. And when the light falls on your own being, there is self-knowledge, self-knowing. And that self-knowing brings you freedom. Freedom from all entanglements, freedom from all attachments, freedom from death, freedom from the body. It creates the soul in you. That's what Gurdjieff used to say to his disciples, that you are not born with a soul, you have to create it by metanoia. The Book of the Yellow Castle says, in the square-inch field of the square-foot house, life can be regulated. In this small temple of your body, life can be regulated. In the middle of the square inch dwells the splendor. In the purple hall of the city of jade dwells the God of utmost emptiness and life. Just see the contradiction, emptiness and life. Life is male, emptiness is female. Life and emptiness both are two aspects of the inner God. When you have not chosen either in preference to the other, when you have not chosen at all, you have been just a watcher. You become that God whose one aspect is life and whose other aspect is death, whose one aspect is perfection and whose other aspect is nothingness. Therefore, when the light circulates, the energies of the whole body appear before its throne. And when the light moves inwards and circulates inside your being, because there is no outlet left, that's what meditation is. That's what Buddha is doing under the Bodhi tree. You sit silently, you close all the doors, and the light circulates within. Then for the first time you become aware of the body and all that the body contains, all its mysteries. This small body contains all the mysteries of the universe. It is a miniature cosmos. Therefore, when the light circulates, the energies of the whole body appear before its throne, as, when a holy king has established the capital and has laid down the fundamental rules of order, all the states approach with tribute. Or as, when the master is quiet and calm, men servants and maids obey his orders of their own accord, and each does his work. And when this light is there moving inside you, the body becomes a servant. The senses become obedient servants. You need not try to control them. They follow you of their own accord. This is the beauty of Tao. It never enforces anything. It does not want to cultivate any character. It says, simply become full of light and all else will follow. Therefore, you only have to make the light circulate. That is the deepest and most wonderful secret. The light is easy to move, but difficult to fix. If it is made to circulate long enough, then it crystallizes itself. It is the condition of which it is said, silently thou fliest upward in the morning. A very significant thing is being said in this sutra. The light is easy to move. It is difficult to fix it. So don't try to fix it. That's where yoga tries to do something which cannot be done easily. Hence the difficulty, the arduousness of yoga. Yoga tries to fix the light. It also tries to fix the light between the two eyes, just exactly between the two eyebrows at the third eye center. Yoga tries to fix it. That is the difference between Tao and yoga. Yoga wants to fix it. Concentrate on the third eye, in a nutshell. That is the whole philosophy of yoga. If you can concentrate your whole consciousness on the third eye, you will be transformed. Your two eyes will become one, and you will be full of light. And just beyond the third eye is the sixth center in the yoga map of consciousness. Beyond the sixth is the seventh. The seventh is called the 1,000-petaled lotus. If the light is concentrated at the third eye, when it becomes too much, it will give a push to the seventh center. It will start rising like water in a reservoir. And the push to the seventh center will open the bud that has remained a bud for centuries, for millions of lives. Tao works from a different standpoint. Tao says to fix the light is very difficult. Don't become concerned with fixing it. The easy way is to circulate it. Mind always finds circulation easy. It is mind's nature to move. Mind always finds it difficult to concentrate. So why not use mind's capacity? Why not ride on it? Tao is a spontaneous science. Don't cultivate, don't force, don't create unnecessary troubles for yourself. Use the natural capacity of the mind, that it moves, that it likes movement, that it is a wanderer. Use it. Let light circulate. We will come to know how to circulate it later on. Let it circulate. Through its circulation, Taoists came to discover the 700 points of acupuncture. Circulating it all over the body, they became aware that there are 700 points where light becomes very, very aflame. And they counted them exactly. Now science corroborates it. There are exactly 700 points. Now even machines have been invented, which can just picture your 700 points and where the light is missing in your points, where the energy is not moving in the right meridians. How did the Taoists come to know about it? They had no machines, no technology. Their only technique was to go in and circulate the light. We will come to know about the actual method, how to circulate it. This is just to create a background so you understand what exactly their approach is. They say if you circulate the light and go on circulating it, at a certain point it crystallizes on its own. You need not worry about fixing it. Circulating, one moment, suddenly you find all has stopped and the thing has happened that yoga tries to make happen. In Tao, it's a happening. In yoga, it is a hard, long journey of effort. Yoga is male-oriented. Tao is not female-oriented. Tao is both a synthesis. Circulation is masculine energy, and fixation is feminine energy. Reach to the non-active, reach to the passive through action. Through effort, attain to effortlessness. In carrying out this fundamental principle, you need to seek for no other methods, but must only concentrate your thoughts on it. By collecting the thoughts, one can fly and will be born in heaven. The golden flower is the elixir of life. It is the secret of all immortality. This is what the Western alchemists used to call the philosopher's stone, what in India is called amrit, elixir, nectar. This is an alchemical treatise. It gives you the secrets for transforming your chemistry into alchemy, for transforming the baser metal into gold. Right now, you are only a baser metal, but you contain the secrets. If those secrets are worked out, you are transformed into gold. The gold is immortal. The golden flower is the elixir of life. Although it works very accurately, it is yet so fluid that it needs extreme intelligence and clarity, and the most complete absorption and tranquility. People without this highest degree of intelligence and understanding do not find the way. People without this utmost capacity for absorption and tranquility cannot keep fast hold of it. Two requirements are needed. First, one needs intelligence and clarity. Don't be worried about it. Don't start thinking that if you are not intelligent, then what? Everybody is born intelligent. Intelligence is an intrinsic quality. Just as everybody is born breathing, everybody is born intelligent. The idea that a few people are intelligent and a few are not is utterly wrong and has been dehumanizing many, many people. It is very insulting and degrading. All are born intelligent, although their intelligences may differ in their expressions. One is intelligent in music, another is intelligent in mathematics. But if you make mathematics the criterion, then the musician looks unintelligent. If you put them both into an examination where mathematics is the criterion, the musician fails. Change the criterion, let music be the criterion, and put them both into an examination where music will decide. Then the mathematician looks stupid. We have chosen certain criteria. That's why many people have been condemned as stupid. They are not. I have never come across a single person who is stupid. It does not happen. But his intelligence may be of a different kind. Poetry needs a different kind of intelligence than being in business. A poet cannot be a businessman, and the businessman will find it very difficult to be a poet. One kind of intelligence is needed to be a politician. Another kind of intelligence is needed to be a painter. And there are millions of possibilities. Remember, everyone is born intelligent, so that is not debarring anybody. You just have to find your intelligence, where it is. And once you have found your intelligence, you will be clear. People are living with unclarity because they are living with wrong ideas about themselves. Somebody has told you, a schoolmaster, a headmaster, a university, that you are not intelligent. But their criterion is only a chosen one. Their criterion is not applicable to all. The universities are not yet universal. They don't allow every kind of intelligence. They don't accept all manifestations of intelligence. Once you have accepted your intelligence and you start respecting it, you will become clear. There will be no problem. The poet feels stupid because he cannot be a good businessman. Now this creates confusion. He becomes inferior in his own eyes, disrespectful, condemning. He tries to succeed in business, but he cannot. This creates great smoke around him. If he simply understands that he is a poet and he is not meant to be a businessman, and to succeed as a businessman will be a suicide for him, he has to succeed as a poet. That is his intelligence, and his intelligence has to flower in his own way. He has not to imitate anybody else. Maybe society will not pay for it, because poetry is not needed as much as bombs are needed. Love is not needed as much as hatred is needed. That's why in films, on the radio, on television, murder is allowed. It is not called obscene. But lovemaking is not allowed. It is called obscene. This society lives through hate, not through love. If somebody is murdering, it is perfectly okay. If somebody puts a dagger into your heart and the blood rushes like a fountain, it is perfectly okay. But if somebody hugs you, kisses you, loves you, society is afraid. This is strange, that love is obscene and murder is not, that lovers are condemned and soldiers rewarded, that war is right and love is wrong. If you accept your intelligence, if you accept yourself, you will become clear, absolutely clear. All clouds will disappear. And the second thing, you need absorption and tranquility. Intelligence and clarity are part of the male mind. Absorption and tranquility are part of the feminine mind. Only a woman can absorb. That's why she becomes pregnant. She has the womb. These two things are needed together. If you are not intelligent, you will not be able to understand what is being said to you. You will not understand what the master is imparting to you. And if you are not feminine, you will not be able to absorb it. You will not be able to become pregnant with it. And both are needed. You have to be intelligent, utterly intelligent, to see the point. And you have to be utterly absorptive to keep it in you so that it becomes part of you. This is just a background. Slowly, slowly, we will go into the techniques of how to circulate the light. Listen attentively, intelligently, absorb it. It can be one of the greatest experiences of your life. Now we begin Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Empty Eyes. The first question is from Bava. He asks, "Lately several friends have asked me if I was skeptical towards sannyas, the ashram, and you. I had to admit to the truth and said, yes, at times I am. This left me with a feeling of guilt. Have I committed some unforgivable sacrilegious crime, or is it natural to be skeptical out of being sure? I do not know if you are enlightened. I can only feel your beauty and trust." Bava, faith is afraid of doubt, afraid because it has repressed it. And whatsoever you repress, you will remain afraid of, because it is always there deep inside you, waiting to take revenge. Whenever the opportunity arises, it is going to explode in you with vengeance. Your faith sits on an earthquake, and every day the doubt becomes stronger, because every day you have to repress it. Sooner or later, it is more than you can repress, more than your faith. Then it simply throws your faith away. But trust is not afraid of doubt, because trust is not against doubt. Trust uses doubt. Trust knows how to use the energy contained in doubt itself. That's the difference between faith and trust. Faith is false. It creates a pseudo kind of religion. It creates hypocrites. Trust has a sublime beauty and truth about it. It grows through doubt. It uses doubt as manure. It transforms doubt. Doubt is a friend, not the enemy. And unless your trust has moved through many doubts, it will remain impotent. From where will it gather strength? From where will it gather integration? If there is no challenge, it is bound to remain weak. Doubt is a challenge. If your trust can respond to the challenge, can befriend your doubt, it will grow through it. And you will not be a split person, deep down doubting and just on the surface faithful, believing. You will have a kind of unity. You will be an individual, undivided. And that individuality is what is called soul in the old religions. The soul is arrived at through doubt, not through believing. Belief is just a mask. You are hiding your original face. Trust is a transformation. You are becoming more illumined. And because you are using doubt as a challenge, as an opportunity, there is never any repression. Slowly, slowly, doubt disappears because its energy has been taken by trust. Doubt, in fact, is nothing but trust growing. Doubt is trust on the way. Always think of doubt in this way, that doubt is trust on the way. Doubt is inquiry, and trust is the fulfillment of the inquiry. Doubt is the question, and trust is the answer. The answer is not against the question. There would be no possibility of any answer if there were no question. The question has created the occasion for the answer to happen. So please, never feel guilty around me. I am utterly against any kind of guilt. Guilt is absolutely wrong. but it has been used by priests, politicians, and Puritans down the ages, for centuries. Guilt is a strategy to exploit people, to make them feel guilty. Once you have succeeded in making them feel guilty, they will be your slaves. Because of guilt, they will never be integrated enough. Because of guilt, they will remain divided. Because of guilt, they will never be able to accept themselves. They will always be condemning. Because of guilt, they will be ready to believe in anything, just to get rid of guilt. They will do anything, any nonsense, any nonsensical ritual they will perform, just to get rid of the guilt. Down the centuries, the priest has made people guilty. All the so-called religions exist on your guilt. They don't exist on the existence of God. They have nothing to do with God, and God has nothing to do with them. They exist on your guilt. You are afraid. You know that you are wrong. You have to seek the help of somebody who is not wrong. You know that you are unworthy. You have to bow down. You have to serve those who are worthy. You know that you cannot trust yourself because you are divided. Only an undivided person can trust himself, his feeling, his intuition. You are always shaking, trembling inside. You need somebody to lean on. And once you lean on somebody, once you become dependent, you remain childish. You never grow. Your mental age remains that of a child. You never attain to any maturity. You never become independent. And the priest does not want you to become independent. Independent, and you are lost to him. Dependent, and you are his whole marketplace, his whole business. I am utterly against any kind of guilt. Remember it always. If you start feeling guilty about something around me, then you are doing it on your own. Then you are still carrying the voices of your parents and the priests within you. You have not yet heard me. You have not yet listened to me. I want you to be totally free of all guilt. Once you are free of guilt, you are a religious person. That's my definition of a religious person. Use doubt. Doubt is beautiful because it is only through doubt that trust attains to maturity. How can it be otherwise? It has to be beautiful. It's only through doubt that trust becomes centered. It is only through doubt that trust flowers, blooms. It is the dark night of doubt that brings the golden morning closer to you. The dark night is not against the dawn. The dark night is the womb for the dawn. The dawn is getting ready in the very being of the dark night. Think of doubt and trust as complementary, just as man and woman are, just as night and day, summer and winter, life and death. Always think of those pairs in terms of inevitable complementarity. Never think in terms of opposition. Even though on the surface they seem to be opposed, deep down they are friends, helping each other. Think of a person who has no trust. He will not have any doubt either, because he has nothing to doubt about. Just think of a person who has no trust at all. How can he doubt? What has he to doubt? Only a person of trust has something to doubt. Because you trust, hence you doubt. Your doubt proves your trust, not otherwise. Think of a person who cannot doubt. How can he trust? If he is even incapable of doubt, how can he be capable of trust? Trust is the highest form of the same energy. Doubt is the lowest rung of the same ladder. Use doubt. Use it joyfully. There is no need to feel guilty at all. It is perfectly human and natural to feel great doubts about me sometimes, and great doubts about what is going on here. It is perfectly human. There is nothing extraordinary in it. If it doesn't happen, then something seems to be abnormal. But remember that one has to reach trust. Use doubt, but don't forget the goal. Don't forget the highest rung of the ladder. Even if you're standing on the lowest, look at the highest. You have to reach there. In fact, doubt is pushing you towards that because nobody can feel at ease with doubt. Have you not watched it? When there is doubt, there is uneasiness. Don't change that uneasiness. Don't interpret that uneasiness as guilt. Yes, uneasiness is there, because doubt means you are uncertain of the ground you are standing on. Doubt means you are ambiguous, you are not yet a unity. How can you be at ease? You are a crowd, not one person. You are many persons. How can you be at ease? There must be great noise inside you, one part pulling you in this direction and another part in that direction. How can you grow if you are pulled in so many directions simultaneously? There is bound to be unease, tension, anguish, anxiety. Nobody can live with doubt and in doubt. Doubt pushes you towards trust. Doubt says, go and find a place where you can relax, where you can be totally. Doubt is your friend. It simply says, this is not the home. Go ahead, search, seek, inquire. It creates the urge to inquire, to explore. Once you start seeing doubt as a friend, as an occasion, not against trust, but pushing you towards it, suddenly guilt disappears. There is great joy. Even when you doubt joyously, you doubt consciously, and you use doubt to find trust. It is absolutely normal. You say, I do not know if you are enlightened. How can you know it? There is no way to know it unless you become enlightened. How can you know what has happened to me unless it happens to you too? It is absolutely right to feel that you cannot trust me sometimes. The miracle is that sometimes you can trust. Just those few moments will be enough. Don't be worried. Trust has such infinite power. Trust is just like light, and doubt is like darkness. Just a small candle of trust is enough to destroy the darkness of ages. The darkness cannot say, I have lived in this place for so long, I cannot leave so easily, and I cannot leave only because of this small candle. Even a small candle is more potent than the darkness of ages, of centuries, of thousands of lives. But it will have to go. Once the light is there, it has to go. Those few moments of trust, let them be far and few in between. Don't be worried. They are enough to destroy all your doubts, slowly, slowly. And by destroying, I mean just releasing the energy contained in doubt, just breaking the shell called doubt, and deep inside, you will find the pure energy to trust. Once it is released, more and more trust will be available to you. You say, I do not know if you are enlightened. Good that you don't believe. If you start believing, you will stop seeking. A believer never moves, he has already believed. That's why there are millions of people worshiping in churches, temples, mosques, gurudwaras, but their worship is out of belief. Because it is out of belief, those millions of people remain irreligious. They don't search for God, they don't seek God, they have already accepted. Their acceptance is lame. They have not struggled for it, they have not earned it. You have to fight, you have to struggle, you have to earn. Nothing is without a price in life, you have to pay the price. They have not paid the price, and they think that just by worshiping in a temple they will attain. They are utter fools, they are wasting their time. All their worship is just an illusion. The really religious person cannot believe, he searches. Because he cannot believe, he remains in doubt, and nobody can be at rest with doubt. One has to seek and search and to find. Doubt goes on gnawing at your being, goes on goading you. Search, seek, find, and don't be contented before you have found. Good that you cannot believe. Only remember, there is no need to believe and there is no need to disbelieve. And that's happening, and I am happy. You say, I can only feel your beauty and trust. That's all that is needed. That's enough, more than enough. That will become the boat to the other shore. If you can feel my love, if you can feel my trust in you, if you can feel my hope in you, if you can see that something beautiful has happened although you don't know what exactly it is, you cannot define it and you cannot explain it, but you can feel that something of the beyond. That's what beauty is. Beauty is always of the beyond. Whenever you see a rose flower and you say it is beautiful, what do you mean? You mean you have seen something of the beyond. Something invisible has become visible to you. You cannot prove it. If somebody else standing by your side denies seeing any beauty in the rose, you cannot prove it to him. There is no way. You will just have to shrug your shoulders. You will say, then nothing can be done about it. I see and you don't see, and that is that. You cannot go to a scientist to dissect the rose and find whether it contains beauty or not. It does not contain it. The beauty is not contained in the rose. The beauty is from the beyond. It simply dances on the rose. Those who have eyes, they will see. Those who don't have eyes, they will not see. You can take the rose to a chemist. He will dissect it. He will find everything that is in the rose. But beauty is not in the rose. The rose was just an occasion for beauty to descend from the beyond. The rose was just a screen for the beauty to play upon. The rose was just a stage for the drama to happen. It is not the drama itself. You take the rose away, you dissect the rose, you cut it into pieces, you find all the constituents, but beauty is not a constituent of the rose, although without the rose, the beauty cannot descend. It is just like the sun rising in the morning and the rays dancing on the lotus pond. You don't see the rays themselves, you can't see them. That's what the secret of the golden flower says. You can't see essence. You can't see life. All that you see are only consequences. Have you ever seen light itself? No, you have never seen it. If you think you have seen light itself, you have not thought about it. You have not pondered over it. You have seen lighted things, not light itself. You have seen the lighted pond, the lighted lotus, the lighted face of your loved one, the lighted world, but have you seen light itself? If there is nothing for the light to play upon, you will not be able to see it. That's why the moment astronauts go away from the Earth, even in the daytime, the sky is dark, utterly dark, because you cannot see light itself, and there is nothing there for the light to play upon. Hence the infinite sky is dark. You see light on the stars because stars become the playground for the light, but surrounding the stars it is all darkness because there is nothing to obstruct the light. And unless light is obstructed, you cannot see it. You cannot see enlightenment. You can see only the consequence of it. You cannot see what has happened to me, but you can see something has happened, something like X. There's no need to call it enlightenment either, just X will do. Something mysterious has happened. And the more you feel me, the more you will become aware of it. And when you become more aware of it, something inside you will start responding to it. What has happened to me can trigger a process in you. It cannot be the cause of your enlightenment. Remember, your enlightenment will not be the effect of my enlightenment. There is no cause and effect relationship between the master and the disciple. There is a totally different kind of relationship. Just in this century, Carl Gustav Jung was able to penetrate into the mystery of that different kind of relationship. He calls it synchronicity. Cause and effect is a scientific relationship. Synchronicity is a poetic relationship. By synchronicity, what is meant is that if something has happened somewhere and you become available to it, you remain vulnerable to it. Something can start responding in you parallel to it. But it has not been the cause of it. It cannot cause it. It is just like somebody is playing beautiful music and a great desire arises in you to dance. It is not caused by the music. It is a parallel response in you. Something that was fast asleep in you, the energy to dance, has been hit, not caused, just hit, provoked, inspired. It is synchronicity. If it were a cause, then it would happen to everybody. For example, you are here, 3,000 sannyasins are present. I am available to all of you, but you are not all available to me. Or even if you are available in different ways. The quality differs, the quantity differs. If I could be a cause of your enlightenment, then all 3,000 of you would become enlightened. But I'm not the cause. I can only become a catalytic agent. But for that, you have to be open towards me. If I were a cause, there would be no need for you to be open to me. Fire burns whether the wood is open to it or not. It is a cause. Water evaporates at 100 degrees heat. Whether it is open to the heat or not doesn't matter. Cause and effect is a blind relationship. It is materialistic. It is between matter and matter. But synchronicity is not material. It is spiritual. It is poetic. It is a love affair. If you become open to me, something will start happening to you. And remember, I am not the cause of it. You need not thank me. You need not be grateful to me. I am not the cause of it. If anybody is the cause of it, it is you, because you opened towards me. I could not have done it alone. There is no doing on my part. I am present. All that is needed is that you also be present here, and something will start happening, and nobody is doing it. Neither I am doing it nor are you. I am available, you become available, and these two energies fall into a love affair. They start dancing together. So don't be worried that you cannot know about my enlightenment. You say I can only feel your beauty and trust. This is enough. This will do. And once it has happened in you, you will know. To know a Buddha, one has to become a Buddha. To know a Christ, one has to be a Christ. Now for our second question. It is from Maitri. She asks, in the past few weeks, just when I am feeling overwhelmed with the mystery and miracle of life in this world, I suddenly feel everything outside me descending closer and closer until it goes inside my eyes. I then find myself looking at what seems like a one-dimensional screen sitting just at my eyes. It seems as though there is nothing but me, and I am so alone. But then people are on the scene interacting with me, and I become confused. And what about you? You also seem just part of the painting. Even though this lasts only a few seconds, I become so terrified when this happens. Is this my mind playing with me? How could I really be so alone? Maitri, one is alone. Aloneness is ultimate, but aloneness is not loneliness. You are not lonely. And that's where the whole misunderstanding lies. And that's what makes you so terrified. To be lonely means you are missing the other. To be lonely is a negative state. To be lonely means you are feeling empty. You are searching for the other. You believe in the other. You depend on the other, and the other is not there. And because the other is not there, there is great nothingness. But that nothingness is a kind of negative nothingness. You are groping for the other, and you cannot find the other, and everything starts disappearing. And when everything starts disappearing, the real problem is that you cannot remain yourself. When everything else has disappeared, you will have to disappear too, because you depend on others. You are just a reflection of the others. You have seen your face in the eyes of others. They have been mirrors. Now there are no longer any mirrors. So who are you? All has disappeared. So how can you remain in this loneliness? You also start evaporating, and that creates great fear, the fear of death. The ego starts dying and starts searching somewhere for somebody to cling to. And that's why soon you start interacting with people. Out of the fear of death, you start getting occupied with others again. And then great confusion is bound to be there, because your natural being was moving into a deep nothingness, but you became frightened and you pulled yourself out of it. You created a contradiction in your energy. The energy was going in and you jumped out, hence the confusion. But aloneness is ultimate. And when I say aloneness is ultimate, I mean that there is only one. There are not many. You are not separate from existence. Nobody is separate from anybody else. Existence is utterly one. The very idea of separation is our misery. The very idea that I am an island creates hell. Nobody is an island. We belong to the continent. We are part of this oceanic existence, past, present, future. In all directions and all dimensions, it is all one. In fact, the word alone means all oneness. That is aloneness. All one is alone. But for that, Maitri, you will have to go a little more into this nothingness. First, the nothingness is negative. Its outermost core, the shell part, is negative. If you go a little deeper, you will find the positive negativeness. The positive negativeness is what Buddha calls nirvana, enlightenment, shunya. When you move deeper and you have crossed the shell part, the hard negative part, the dark part, suddenly there is light. The night is over. And then you feel a totally new kind of aloneness, which you have never felt before. And then you know the distinction between loneliness and aloneness. In loneliness, you were searching for the other. In aloneness, the other has disappeared, and so has the ego. Now there is nobody inside and nobody outside, and all is one. This unity, this absolute oneness, brings benediction. Then there is no fear. There cannot be, because now there can be no death. How can there be fear? The death has already happened. That which could die has died. Now you are in the world of immortality. You have found the elixir. This is the nectar we will be talking about again and again in these sutras of the secret of the golden flower. This is the nectar, Amrit. This is the elixir, the philosopher's stone. Once you have tasted of it, all death has disappeared. All time has disappeared. All distinctions have disappeared. Now you will see the tree as your extension, the cloud as your extension, or you as the extension of the tree. Now the center is everywhere and nowhere. The I does not exist anywhere anymore. The very word has become utterly false. Once a Christian missionary asked a Zen master, "Isn't the end point of man's journey the union with God?" The Zen master said, "The end point of man's journey is not union with God because there has never been a separation. All that is needed is the flash of insight that makes one see it." Tao, Zen, Tantra, their insight is far deeper than so-called marketplace religion. Christianity thinks in terms of joining with God, of being one with God, but the Zen master's insight is far more penetrating and deeper. He says, "But where has there been a separation? When? It has not happened at all. You have been dreaming that you are separate. Just come out of the dream. There is no union. You have always been one with existence. Not for a single moment has there been a separation. There is no possibility of separation. Maitri, you are coming to a very, very important, significant insight. If you don't get frightened and run out of this experience, you may attain the flash of insight that makes one see it, that all is one. But fear always comes. It is not new. Each seeker has to go through it. And it is really so much that before you have thought about it, you have already run out of it. It is so frightening that it does not give you time or space to ponder over it, what to do. It is like the house is on fire. You don't think anymore. Should I get out or not? There are no more alternatives left. You simply run out of the house without thinking. There is no time to think. Later on, you can think. When you are outside the house, sitting under a tree, you can think and ponder in luxury. But when the house is on fire, how can you think? Action is needed immediately, and thought is never immediate. That's the problem. When you go into your aloneness, at first it is very lonely because you have lived with the idea of the other. It was a dream idea, the other is not there. I and thou, both are false. Martin Buber says that the ultimate quality of prayer is a dialogue between I and thou. That's where Judaism got stuck. The ultimate prayer is not a dialogue at all. The ultimate prayer is a monologue, because the other is not there. A Zen master used to call his own name in the morning. Every morning he would shout his own name and say, "How are you?" And he would answer, "I am perfectly well, sir." You will think he is mad, but this is prayer. There is no I, there is no thou. You have to play the part of both. It is a game, it's a play. Prayer is a play, playing with your own self. There is no other. But Judaism got stuck there with the idea of I and thou. That's why they were so much against Jesus, because he declared, although not in such a drastic way as a Zen master declares, it was not possible to be more drastic than he was in his situation. But still he said, I and my Father are one. But that was enough to infuriate people. People were mad. What is he saying? Declaring himself God. He is not saying anything. He is not declaring himself God. He is simply saying there is no God and no devotee. There is only one. You can call it devotee in a certain situation. You can call it God in another. That's why he says, I and my Father are one. If you look at my body, I am the Son. If you look at my soul, I am the Father. If you look at my form, I am a man, son of man. If you look at my essence, I am son of God. That's why he goes on repeating it again and again. Sometimes he says, I am son of man. And sometimes he says, I am son of God. It looks contradictory, but it is not. Maitri, you say, in the past few weeks, just when I am feeling overwhelmed with the mystery and miracle of life in this world, I suddenly feel everything outside me descending closer and closer until it goes inside my eyes. All that you see is a projection of your eyes. The world as it is, you have not seen yet. What you have seen is just a projection. So when you start moving inwards, everything that you have projected on the world will come closer and closer and closer to your eyes and will disappear into your eyes. This world is a projection of your eyes. You don't see that which is, you project a dream upon it. For example, there is a great diamond, the Koh-i-Noor. Now it is just a stone like any other stone, but we have projected so much value on it. Many people have died because of the Koh-i-Noor. Whosoever possessed it was killed. Now see the whole nonsense of it. Just that stone has proved very murderous because of the projections of people. It is one of the most precious things in the world, the costliest thing in the world. But if humanity disappears from the earth, will it be anything more than any other pebble? It will be just lying there with other pebbles in the same way. There will be no distinction, no difference. From where does the difference come? Our eyes project, we make it special. We go on pouring our desire, our greed onto it. It becomes very precious and very dangerous too. If you are meditating on the Koh-i-Noor, silently seeing it, one moment will come when you see that something from the Koh-i-Noor is coming closer and closer to your eyes, and then it disappears into them. Then you open your eyes, the Koh-i-Noor has disappeared. There is something, but you had not known it before, and the one that you had known before is no more there. A beautiful experience, tremendously significant. Go into it, go deeper and deeper into it. Let the whole world disappear. Yes, I will also disappear into that, because what I am, you have not seen yet, and what you see is your projection. Your projection will disappear, and when all your projections have disappeared, then the world comes in its nakedness, as it is, and the wonder of it. Then small things are so wonderful, then ordinary pebbles are so wonderful. Because of the Koh-i-Noor, they cannot be wonderful. You have projected all on the Koh-i-Noor, you have not left any love for anything else. Once the projection disappears and you open your eyes, empty eyes, not projecting anything at all, just seeing whatsoever it is, with no idea what it is, with no names, no labels, no interpretations, just seeing, emptied, passive, the world comes to have a totally different meaning, significance. I suddenly feel everything outside me descending closer and closer until it goes inside my eyes. I then find myself looking at what seems like a one-dimensional screen sitting just at my eyes. Perfectly good and perfectly right. This is the way one moves deeper into meditation. It seems as though there is nothing but me and I am so alone. The only problem is that you are still there. That's why you feel so alone. You mean lonely. The I remains alone. Thou has disappeared, and without the thou, the I is lonely. The I exists only in relationship. The I is not an entity, but a relationship. It cannot exist without the thou. It needs the thou. How can the lover exist without the beloved? Once the beloved is not there, the lover starts disappearing. You need the beloved. Love is a relationship, so is the I a relationship. And because you are still protecting the I somehow, you have not yet been courageous enough to let it go too. Just as the whole world has disappeared, let this I also disappear. It will be frightening in the beginning. It will be a death process. It is a death process. It will look like you're committing suicide. It will look, who knows where you're going, whether you will be coming back again or not. It will look as if madness is exploding in you, and great fear will arise, and in that fear you will be thrown out again and again. It will happen many times. Slowly you will have to learn not to be so afraid. There is nothing to fear. You are very close to the treasure. These are the moments when a master is needed to help you, to give you courage, to hold your hand, to say to you, Maitri, all is perfectly right, go in. I had to pass through the same, and I was also as much afraid as you are, and many times I came out just as you are coming out. And you are more fortunate than me because I had no master, nobody to give me courage, nobody to hold my hand. I was simply struggling by myself. There was nobody who could tell me what was going to happen ahead. I had to grope and go into it, and it was dangerous, it was maddening, and the people who were around me in those days had already started believing that I had gone mad. Everybody who loved me was worried. My friends, my teachers, my professors in the university, my parents, everybody was worried. But I had to go. Many times I went out. The fear was so much. I am perfectly acquainted with the fear. But one day, one has to face it and go through it, because again and again you fall upon it and you rush out, and the outside is not meaningful anymore. The outside is all empty, and you come inside, and the fear, you have to choose between the two. The outside is no more relevant. You can go on making empty gestures, but how long can you deceive yourself? You know the screen is empty, and all your projections are dead, and you go inside, and the fear, a great storm of fear arises. But there is no other way. One has to go through it to know exactly what happens after this death. The sooner you gather courage, the better. And I say again, you are more fortunate because I am standing ahead of you in that utter emptiness, calling you forth again and again. Come on, come ye all, come. And I go on calling you forth just as Christ called Lazarus from the grave. Lazarus, come out. In fact, that parable is not a historical fact. It is a parable. It is a parable of moving from the outside to the inside. The outside becomes a grave when it loses meaning. The outside becomes just futility, a wasteland, a grave. Nothing grows in it anymore, nothing flowers in it anymore, no possibility of any song and dance, and you live only in empty motions, empty gestures. But the Master is standing where you are afraid to go, and he calls from there. I am not only standing outside you, you will meet me in that innermost nothingness. Not as me, of course, not as a person, but as a presence, not separate from you, but one with you. That's why I insist so much on sannyas. Unless you are sannyasin, it will be difficult for me to call you from the inside. I can call you from the outside, but then you remain just a student. I can teach you a few things that will become knowledge, but I cannot call you from your inside, from your very heart. And the need is there. That is possible only if you become a disciple, if you are a sannyasin, if you're ready to go with me, if you're ready to trust me, at least in some moments. I will use those some moments, and sooner or later they will become your very state of being. So go on, let this me, this I also disappear. And once this I disappears, there is no loneliness, there is aloneness. And aloneness is beautiful, aloneness is freedom. It is a very positive feeling of well-being, a positive feeling of great joy. It is a very great festive moment, it is celebration. It seems as though there is nothing but me and I am so alone. Yes, if I remains, you will remain lonely. But then people are on the scene interacting with me and I become confused. And what about you? You also seem just part of the painting. Allow me to become part of the painting on the outside. Only then can I start working from the inside. Let me disappear from the outside so that you can see me inside, and that will be my truth. And that is the truth of Christ, and that is the truth of the Buddha and Krishna. That is the truth of all the masters, of all those who have become awakened. Even though this lasts only a few seconds, I become so terrified when this happens. It is natural, but gather courage. I am with you. Go in. Is this my mind playing with me? No, not at all. Mind creates the fear, not this experience. Mind is playing when it creates the fear. It is not mind when you see all your projections coming closer and closer and disappearing into your eyes. It is not mind when everything becomes a white empty screen. It is not mind, it is meditation. It is movement towards no mind. Mind creates the fear. When it comes very close to no mind, it becomes so afraid of death that it creates fear. And in that fear, you rush out again. Next time it happens, Maitri, go in spite of the fear. Just be like the elephant who goes on moving although the dogs go on barking. Let the dogs of the mind bark. Go on moving like an elephant. Don't care at all about the mind, what it is saying. The third question, what happens when an enlightened man slides back into delusion? Fallen flowers don't jump back to the branches. That is not possible. The enlightened person cannot slide back into illusion. There is no way. For many reasons, there is no way. First, the enlightened man is no more. Who will slide back? Enlightenment is. There is nothing like an enlightened person. Enlightenment is perfectly there, but there is nobody who is enlightened. That is just a way of speaking, a linguistic fallacy. Who will slide back? The one who could have slid back has disappeared. And where can one slide back? Once you have found it is illusion, it is no more there. When once you have seen it is no more there, it is finished. Where can you go back? It is not possible. But the idea arises in our mind because in life we have never seen anything like that. We attain one thing and we fall back. We are in love and then we fall out of it. We fall in love and we fall out of it. We are happy and then we become unhappy. We are feeling good and then we start feeling very bad. We know the duality. The duality never disappears, so we naturally think about enlightenment also as if one can slide back. Enlightenment is the realization of the non-dual. That's why Zen masters say samsara is nirvana. The very world is nirvana. The very illusion is truth. There is no distinction left. It is not that this is truth and that is illusion. All is truth. Only truth is. Where can you fall back? You have gone beyond the point of no return. Nobody has ever fallen back. And don't be worried about these people. You should worry about yourself. First become enlightened and then try to slide back. And then you will see it is easier to become enlightened. It is very difficult to slide back. I have tried, but I have not been successful. The last question is from Suparna. She asks, please explain about bliss and misery. For whenever I encounter love or beauty, I only feel tremendous pain but not bliss, and I don't understand this. Suparna, you have been told again and again, you have been taught again and again, that to be joyous is wrong and to be miserable is right. You may not have been told so directly, but indirectly, you have been conditioned and hypnotized for misery. You have started believing that misery is natural. You see misery all around, misery abounds, everybody is miserable. It seems to be the way things are. When you were born, you were a happy child, as every child is happy. It has not happened otherwise. Never. Whenever a child is born, he is happy, utterly happy. And that's why children look very selfish. They only think of themselves. They are not worried about the world, and they are happy about small things. A butterfly in the garden, and the utter joy in their wonder, at small things, at nothings. But they are happy. They are naturally happy. But slowly, slowly, we cripple their happiness. We destroy it. We cannot tolerate so much happiness. The world is very miserable, and we have to prepare them for the world. So indirectly, we start indoctrinating them that the world is misery, that you cannot afford to be happy, that happiness is just a hope. How can you be happy? Don't be so selfish. There is so much misery all around. Feel for others. Consider others. Slowly, slowly the child gets the feeling that to be happy is a kind of sin. How can you be happy when the world is in such misery? People write letters to me asking, how can you teach people meditation when the world is in such misery? How can one be happy when people are starving? As if by being unhappy you will help them. As if by not being meditative you will be of any kind of service to them. As if wars will disappear if you don't meditate, and poverty will disappear if you are not happy. But misery has been put on a pedestal. Misery has been worshipped. I always suspect that Christianity became the greatest religion because of the cross. It represents misery, suffering. Krishna could not become a great religion because of his flute, because of his dance. Even those who worship him feel a little guilty about him. How can you be so happy in dancing with girlfriends? And not just one, thousands, and singing and playing on the flute. And people are dying, and there is death and starvation and war and violence, and all kinds of things are going on. It is hell, and you are playing on your flute. It seems callous, it seems cruel. Jesus seems to be more suitable dying on the cross. Look at the face of Jesus. The way Christians have painted him, his face is very long, sad. He is carrying the whole burden of the earth. He has come to take all the sins of all the people on himself. He seems to be the greatest servant, very unselfish. But my feeling is that Christians have depicted Christ wrongly. This Christ is a myth. The real Christ was more like Krishna. In fact, if you go deep down into the word Christ, you will be surprised. It comes from Krishna. Its root is Krishna. He must have been a very joyous man, otherwise how can you think of him eating, drinking, making merry? There are so many scenes where friends have gathered and they are eating and drinking and gossiping. He is not always gospeling. Sometimes he is gossiping too, and he seems to be the only messenger from God who drinks and eats well and enjoys the small pleasures of life. My feeling is that if Zen masters were to create a religion out of Jesus, they would make him laugh on the cross. A belly laugh. Jesus would have as big a belly as Bodhidharma, and the belly would be shaking like an earthquake with great laughter. And that would have been more true, far more true. Even in Japan and China, the statue of the Buddha is made with a big belly. In India, they don't make that big belly, no, not at all. The Indian concept, the yogic concept, is that the belly has to be very small and the chest has to be big, because yogic breathing is a false breathing. It is not natural. It can make a Muhammad Ali out of you, but not a Buddha. It will give you the shape of a Mr. Universe. But have you seen any other kinds of people in the world who are more ugly? Mr. Universe seems to be the ugliest. I don't think any woman can fall in love with a Mr. Universe. He looks so animalistic, all muscles and no man, just a kind of mechanism. Just see his muscles moving. Just a kind of mechanism, a machine, but no soul. The Indian statue of Buddha is the yogic statue. When they made Buddha's statue in China, they made it with a big belly. When one laughs and when one breathes naturally, the belly becomes slowly bigger, because then one breathes from the belly and not from the chest. The breath goes the whole way down. If Zen were to make a religion out of Christianity, Jesus would be on the cross, but with laughter, such laughter that it would resound down the centuries. But that may not have been a successful religion, because how would it suit the people who know only crying and weeping? He would look completely eccentric, outlandish. To be on the cross and sad looks perfectly right, because everybody is on a certain cross and sad. And you must have been taught from your very childhood that the world is a wrong place. How can you be happy in this place? We are suffering a kind of punishment. God ordered Adam and Eve to leave paradise because they disobeyed, and humanity is under that curse. How can you be happy? To be a Christian and happy will be a contradiction in terms. So Suparna, you must have been taught that the world is a miserable place. Misery is perfectly right in it, in tune with it, and everybody is miserable. It will be very hard and cruel on your part to be happy and joyous. That's why people feel guilty and hold back, even when there are moments to enjoy. Larson took Charlotte for a driveway out in the country and parked the car in a desolate stretch. "If you try to molest me," said Charlotte, "I'll scream." "What good would that do?" asked Larson. "There's not a soul around for miles." "I know," said Charlotte, "but I want to satisfy my conscience before I start having a good time." People even make love with sad faces, as if they are on the cross, serious, doing a duty. And even if they want to enjoy, they hide it. It doesn't look right. They feel guilty. If people really made love with joy, they would scream, they would shout, they would cry, they would weep, they would laugh. One never knows what kind of emotions will surface, so it is better to keep yourself in control, otherwise you will look so foolish. And then what will the neighbors think? And modern walls are so thin that you even have to make love in a yoga posture, Shavasana, the dead body posture. And be finished with it as soon as possible. Don't let it become orgasmic. What are you doing? And Jesus suffered for you on the cross. And you are shouting with joy? Think of Jesus, poor Jesus. What will he think of you? And think of God, who is a kind of peeping Tom who always looks through keyholes. What will he think? If you think of all the gods, and then the angels, and the Christs, and the saints, and they are all watching you making love, and with such relish, you will suffer in hell. It is better to keep control. It is good to feel guilty. That's why after making love, people feel a kind of sadness, a kind of frustration, as if they have done something criminal. Again, they enjoyed themselves, and that is not right. Just see. Whenever you are feeling miserable, something feels good. It will look like a contradiction, but it is like this. Whenever you are miserable, you feel blissful, and whenever you are blissful, you feel miserable. You say, "Please explain about bliss and misery," for whenever I encounter love or beauty, I only feel tremendous pain but not bliss, and I don't understand this. You will not be able to understand this at all because your whole understanding has been poisoned. You will have to drop the whole mind. There's no need to understand. You have to go into it with innocence, not with understanding, because that understanding is again a kind of calculation. That understanding is again the knowledge that has been given by society, and that knowledge is creating the whole trouble. You have to become a child again, innocent. But you want to understand, forget all about understanding. Understanding is again calculation, cunningness. I have heard of an elderly couple who went to a doctor. The man said, "We want to know if we are making love properly. Will you look at us?" "Go ahead," said the doctor. They made love. "You are making love perfectly," the doctor said. "That will be $10. They came back 6 weeks in a row and did the same thing. On the 7th visit, the doctor said, "What are you coming here like this for? I told you are making love properly." "She can't come to my house," said the man, "and I can't go to her house. A motel costs $20. You charge us $10, and we get 8 back from Medicare." Don't be calculating. Don't be cunning with life. Now, what kind of love will this be? Business and business and business. Knowledge is needed for business. Innocence is needed for life. Knowledge is a must in the marketplace, but not needed at all when you're moving into mysteries. You cannot know, you can only be. Drop this mind, drop all this conditioning, and start moving. When you feel joyous, help yourself to feel joyous. Dance, sing. The old habits will pull you back. Don't listen to them. You will have to get rid of the old habits slowly, slowly. It will be a kind of struggle because no habit leaves you easily. But these habits are against you and against God, because anything that is against joy is against God. If God can be defined by any word, that word is bliss and nothing else. Suparna, whenever you feel something beautiful and the pain arises in you, that pain is not in your being, that pain is in your mind. Your being is trying to go into the beautiful, but your mind is pulling you back. Whenever you feel love arising, bliss arising, and pain also, choose the bliss. Neglect the pain. Ignore it. Ignoring it, it will die. If you go on paying attention to it, you will feed it. Attention is food. Never pay attention to anything that is wrong. Otherwise, you are helping it to be there. You are giving it more and more strength. Ignore it. There is nothing better than ignoring it. Yes, let it be there. Just say, okay, you be there. You are just a hangover from my past. You be there. I am going ahead. I am not going to listen to you. Listen to blissful provocations. Always go with them, and you are moving in the right direction. You are moving towards God. Never listen to anything that gives you guilt, pain, misery. You are moving away from God. Whenever you are miserable, you are in hell, farthest away from God. And whenever you are utterly joyous, you are in God, you are in heaven. You ask, please explain about bliss and misery. Misery is unnatural. Bliss is your nature. Misery is taught by others. Bliss is given by God. Misery is a conditioning. Bliss is your inner soul, your essence. Misery is personality, just the structure around you. Bliss is your freedom. It is unstructured. Please explain about bliss and misery. For whenever I encounter love or beauty, I only feel tremendous pain but not bliss. And I don't understand this. Don't try to understand this at all. Just leave the pain there, accept it for a few days, and go into love. Go into love madly. Go into beauty, dance around a tree, and you will feel something of the shape of the tree has started reaching you. Dance under the stars. In the beginning, you may feel that your legs are not moving, and you have to move them. Because you have been forced to live without dance for so long, your legs have forgotten the language of dance. But soon they will learn, because it is a natural language. Each child knows how to dance. Each child knows how to be joyous. You will have to learn it again. But because it is natural, it comes fast. Just a few efforts and suddenly, one day you are out of the trap. Your crutches have to be thrown away. Even if sometimes you fall, it is perfectly good, but you have to stand on your own feet. The crutches of society, of organized religion, of the priests have to be thrown away, even if for a few days you will feel impoverished. It is natural to feel impoverished for a few days. You have to accept it. But if you go on moving towards the natural, you will find Tao in your life. Tao is a natural flowering. Follow nature. Nobody wants to be miserable, and everybody is. They are not following nature. Nobody wants to be anything other than blissful, and nobody is blissful. Listen to the desire. The deepest desire indicates the right path. Your longing is for bliss, for beauty, for something that will overwhelm you, for something that will take you to the other shore, for something which will be so tremendous and incredible that the past and the future will be washed away and you will be just here now. But don't try to understand. If you start trying to understand, you will become a victim of psychoanalysis. And analysis is a process that goes on forever. You can go on analyzing, and it is never finished. There is not a single person in the world who is totally psychoanalyzed. There can never be. This is where I differ from psychoanalysis. Don't go into analysis. Put the whole mind aside. Jump out of it. There is no need to understand. All that is needed is to live, authentically live. All that is needed is to be. We now move into Chapter 3. Chapter 3, the atomic moment. Master Lutzu said, "Only the primal spirit and the true nature overcome time and space." The primal spirit is beyond the polar differences. Here is the place whence heaven and earth derive their being. When students understand how to grasp the primal spirit, they overcome the polar opposites of light and darkness and tarry no longer in the three worlds. But only he who has envisioned human nature's original face is able to do this. When men are set free from the womb, the primal spirit dwells in the square inch, but the conscious spirit dwells below in the heart. This heart is dependent on the outside world. If a man does not eat for one day, even, it feels extremely uncomfortable. If it hears something terrifying, it throbs. If it hears something enraging, it stops. If it is faced with death, it becomes sad. If it sees something beautiful, it is dazzled. But the heavenly heart in the head, when would it have moved in the least? Dost thou ask, can the heavenly heart not move? Then I answer, how could the true thought in the square inch move? The lower heart moves like a strong, powerful commander who despises the heavenly ruler because of his weakness and has usurped the leadership in affairs of state. But when the primal castle can be fortified and defended, then it is as if a strong and wise ruler sat upon the throne. The eyes start the light circulating like two ministers at the right and left who support the ruler with all their might. When rule in the center is thus in order, all those rebellious heroes will present themselves with lances reversed, ready to take orders. The way to the elixir of life knows as supreme magic, seed water, spirit fire, and thought earth, these three. What is seed water? It is the true one energy, eros. Spirit fire is the light, logos. Thought earth is intuition. One day, a king called his clever jester and gave him a staff in front of all the court, saying, "Take this staff as a wand of office and keep it till you find a greater fool than yourself. If you find one, give this wand to him." Some time later, the king was sick and lay dying. He wanted to see his jester, of whose truthfulness he was sure. When the jester came, the king said to him, "I have called you to tell you that I am going on a long journey." "Where are you going?" asked the jester. "To a faraway country, to another world." "My master," the jester asked, "have you made provision for your journey and your stay there?" "None whatever, my little fool," replied the king. "Have you any friends to welcome you there?" asked the jester. "No one," replied the king. Then the jester shook his head sadly and put the staff into the king's hand and said, "Take this staff, your majesty. This belongs to you, for you are going to another world without preparation. Surely this wand belongs to you and to nobody else." Life is an occasion to prepare for death and the beyond. If you don't prepare for death and for the beyond, you are a fool. You are missing a great opportunity. Life is only an opportunity. This life that you know is not real life. It is only an opportunity to attain to real life. The real life is just hidden somewhere in this life, but it has to be provoked, it has to be awakened. It is fast asleep, it is not yet aware of itself. And if your real life is not aware of itself, your whole so-called life will be nothing but a long dream. And it cannot be sweet either. It will be a nightmare. To live without being rooted in real life is to live like a tree without being rooted in the soil. That's why there is no beauty. That's why there is no grace. That's why you don't see the splendor of humanity that the Buddhas talk about. Jesus goes on saying again and again, "The kingdom of God is within you," but you don't seem to be like an emperor. Jesus says to his disciples, "Look at the lilies in the field, how beautiful they are." Even Solomon, the great king, was not so beautifully attired in all his grandeur as these poor lily flowers. Why are the lilies so beautiful and people so ugly? Why is only humanity ugly? Have you ever seen an ugly parrot, or an ugly peacock, or an ugly lion, or an ugly deer? Ugliness seems to be something human. A peacock is a peacock and a deer is a deer. But a human is not necessarily a human. A person is a person only when he is a Buddha or a Christ or a Krishna, when he has become aware of his total being. Otherwise, you live groping in the dark. You live in the dark caves of the unconscious. You only appear to be conscious. Your consciousness is very fragile, very momentary. It is a very thin surface. It is not even skin deep. Just a little scratch, and you lose your consciousness. Somebody insults you, just a word or just a glance, and all your consciousness is gone, and you are rage, anger, violence, aggression. In a moment, your humanity disappears. You are again wild, again an animal. And a human can fall below the animals, because when he falls, there's nothing to stop him. A human can rise above the angels, but it rarely happens, because to rise above the angels is an uphill task, arduous. One has to work for it. It needs hard work, it needs guts, courage, to explore the unknown. Millions of people are born and die, but they never live. Their life is only apparent, because they remain rooted in unconsciousness. And whatsoever you do on the surface may not be true about you at all. In fact, exactly the opposite is the case. That's why Sigmund Freud has to go into your dreams to see your reality. Just see the irony of it. Your reality has to be searched for in your dreams, not in your reality. You cannot be believed what you say about yourself. Your dreams have to be asked, because you have become so false and you are wearing so many masks that it is almost impossible to penetrate to your original face. But it is very difficult to know your original face even from dreams and dream analysis. Who is going to do the analysis? Freud is as unconscious as you are. One unconscious person is trying to interpret the dreams of another unconscious person. His interpretations are bound to be very limited. His interpretations will reflect more about him than about you. That's why if you go to a Freudian analyst with the same dream, you will get a different interpretation than you will get if you go to a Jungian analyst or to an Adlerian analyst. And now there are many, and you will be puzzled. A single dream has different interpretations. They are not saying anything about you. They are saying something about themselves. The Jungian is saying, I am a Jungian. This is my interpretation. Your dreams cannot reveal your truth. If your conscious activities cannot reveal you, how can your sleep activities reveal you? But still, Freud is on the right track. One has to go a little more deeply. One has to go beyond the dreams to a state of mind where no thought, no dream, no desire exists, when all thinking, and dreaming is a kind of thinking, a primitive kind of thinking through pictures, but it is still thinking. When you have gone beyond thinking, and if you can still remain alert, aware, as if one is fast asleep but still alert, and deep down at the very core of one's being, a lamp goes on burning, a small candle of light, then you will see your original face. And to see your original face is to be back in the Garden of Eden. Then you drop all your clothes. Your personality consists only of clothes and clothes and clothes, clothes upon clothes. Remember two words which will be very important to understand this strange but immensely valuable book, The Secret of the Golden Flower. One word is essence, the other word is personality. Personality comes from a root, persona, which means a mask. In ancient days, the actors in Greek dramas used to wear masks. Persona means a mask. Your personality comes from that word. The actors used to wear one mask. You are wearing many because for different situations you need different masks. When you're talking to your boss, you need one kind of mask. And when you're talking to your servant, of course, you need another kind of mask. How can you use the same mask? Have you ever watched? When you're talking to your boss, you're all smiles. Your every breath says, yes, sir. Even though you are offended, angry, you are ready to kiss his feet. And when you are talking to your servant, have you seen the arrogance on your face? You have never smiled. How can you smile talking to your servant? It is impossible. You have to dehumanize him. How can you smile and relate to him as a human being? You have to possess him as a thing. He is a slave. You have to behave in a different way than you behave with your boss. There, you are a servant. He remains arrogant. He remains bossy. When you are talking to a friend, you have a different mask to use. When you're talking to a stranger, of course, a different mask is needed. You have to use many masks, and you have many faces, and you go on changing them as circumstances change. Your personality consists only of false faces. And what is essence? Essence is your original face, without any masks. Essence is that which you brought into the world when you were born. Essence is that which was with you in the womb. Essence is that which has been given to you by God, or whatsoever you call totality, the whole existence. Essence is a gift from existence to you. Personality is a gift of the society, parents, school, college, culture, civilization. Personality is not you, it is pseudo. And we continue to polish this personality, and we have completely forgotten the essence. And unless you remember the essence, you will have lived in vain, because real life consists of essence. A real life is the life of essence. You can call it soul or God within you, or whatsoever you will. But remember the distinction. You are not your clothes, not even your psychological clothes. I must remind you of Moses. When he came face to face with God, when he saw God on the mountains as fire arising out of a green bush, and the bush was not burning, the bush was as fresh, as green as ever, he was puzzled. He could not believe his eyes. It was impossible. Such fire. The bush was aflame, and yet the bush was not burning. And then he heard a voice coming to him from the bush. Moses, put off your shoes, because you are on holy ground. This is one of the most beautiful of Jewish parables. God is the fire. Your personality is just the bush. And God is a cool fire. It will not burn your personality. The personality can remain green. God gives you so much freedom that if you want to be false, it's allowed. It's okay with Him. If you want to be pseudo, it is allowed. Freedom means that you can be right or you can be wrong. This is up to you. Your essence is there, the flame is there, and your personality is also there. The personality is false, and naturally one will think, why doesn't the fire within you burn it? The fire is cool, the fire cannot burn it. If you have decided to have this personality, the fire allows it. You can remain green in your personality. The personality can go on gathering more and more foliage. You can become more and more false. You can become utterly false. You can be lost in the falsehood of the personality, and God is not going to interfere. Remember this, God never interferes. Freedom is total. That is the dignity of humanity, the glory of humanity, and the agony too. If you were not given freedom, you would not be false. No other animal is false. No animal has a personality. And I am not counting pet animals. Because they live with you, they are destroyed. They start having personalities. Your dogs forget their essence. The dog may be angry but goes on wagging his tail. This is personality. He knows who is the boss, and he knows how to buttress the ego of the boss. He has become diplomatic. He is as much a politician as the people who live in New Delhi. He goes on wagging his tail. Have you seen the dog puzzled sometimes? A stranger comes in and the dog does not know how to behave, what face to show to the stranger. Ambiguous, he barks. Maybe that is the right thing to do, and still he goes on wagging his tail. He is waiting for the right hints from the boss, whether the person who has entered the house is a friend or a foe. If he is a foe, he will stop wagging his tail. If he is a friend, he will stop barking at him. He is waiting for a hint, a signal, how the master behaves. He has become a shadow of the master. He is no longer a real dog. To live with human beings is contagious. They destroy. You even destroy animals if they live with you. You don't allow them their natural essence. You civilize them just as you have become civilized. You don't allow nature to have its own way. You don't allow Tao to have its own flow. Essence is that which you bring into the world. The personality is that which the world imposes upon the essence. The world is very afraid of the essence, because the essence is always rebellious. The essence is always individualistic. And the world does not need any individuals. It needs sheep. It does not need rebellious people. It does not need people like Buddha, Krishna, Lao Tzu. No, these people are dangerous. It wants people who are obedient to the status quo, obedient to the vested interests, obedient to the organized church, obedient to the state and the stupid politicians. Society requires obedience, and society requires efficiency. The more mechanical you are, the more efficient you are. When you are more alive, you cannot be so efficient. A machine is more efficient than a human. Society's effort is to reduce every person into a machine. And how to reduce a person into a machine? Make him more and more unconscious. Make him more and more robot-like. Let his essence completely disappear from his consciousness. Let him become perfectly pseudo. Let him be a husband, let her be a wife, a servant, a boss, this and that, but never let him be his essential self. Don't allow that, because that essential self is not obedient to anybody except to God. It has no other commitment. Its sole commitment is to the source. It knows no other masters. That type of being will be very inconvenient to this so-called society, because this society is not created to fulfill the needs of human beings. It is created to exploit human beings. It is not according to you and for your growth. It has no intention to help you to grow. And it has every intention not to allow you to grow, because the more you grow, the more independent you become. The less you grow, the more dependent you remain. And a dependent person is reliable, because a dependent person is always afraid. A dependent person always needs somebody to lean on. He is childish. He leans on his parents, on the priests, on the politicians. He cannot stand on his own feet. Society goes on covering you with many, many clothes, not only physical but psychological too. Society is very much afraid of physical nakedness, because physical nakedness is the beginning of psychological nakedness. Society goes into a panic seeing a naked person, because this is the beginning. If he is naked physically, he has taken the first step. Now who is going to prevent him from becoming psychologically naked? And the voice that called forth from the burning bush to Moses said, put off your shoes. It is a very symbolic thing. Put off all your clothes, it says. Put off your shoes. Shoes cover your feet. Shoes cover you. Be naked on the ground. Be without shoes. The shoe represents personality, and nakedness represents essence. You are on holy ground. Put off your shoes. The moment you encounter your essence, the burning bush within you, you will have to put off your shoes. You will have to put off all your clothes. You will have to put off all that is hiding your essence. That is revolution, metanoia. That is the turning point in a life. Society disappears and you become an individual, and only individuals can relate with God. But a great consciousness will be needed. Let me tell you about a demonstration Gurdjieff once gave. He was one of the greatest masters the world has ever known, and not a conventional master at all, because no master can be conventional. This happened in 1933 in his New York apartment. He called a young disciple named Peters for a special lesson. When Peters arrived, he was asked to wash dishes and prepare vegetables for some very important people who were coming to dinner. Gurdjieff said he needed Peters to give him an English lesson consisting of words for all those parts and functions of the body that were not in the dictionary. By the time Gurdjieff had mastered the four-letter words and obscene phrases, the guests started arriving. They turned out to be some 15 well-dressed, well-mannered New Yorkers, a number of whom were reporters or journalists. After staging a late and apologetic entry, Gurdjieff humbly began responding at the table to the guests' casual questions about his work and reasons for visiting America. Then, with a wink to his English teacher Peters, he suddenly changed his tone. He explained that the sad degeneration of humankind into a substance only describable by a four-letter expletive was particularly striking in their country, which was why he had come to observe this phenomenon. The cause behind this distressing state of affairs, he continued, lay in the fact that people, especially Americans, never followed the dictates of intelligence or propriety, but only that of their genital organs. Then, singling out one particularly handsome woman, he complimented her on her attire and makeup. After that, he confided that, in all honesty between them, the real explanation behind her adornment was an irresistible sexual urge she felt for some particular person, graphically spelled out by Gurdjieff with his newly acquired vocabulary. Before the guests could react, he launched into a discourse on his own sexual prowess, followed by intimate and detailed descriptions of the sexual mores of various races and nations. By the time dinner was over and the guests were well supplied with good old Armagnac as always, they lost their inhibitions and joined in an exchange of obscenities, which soon became more than verbal. Gurdjieff retired with the lady he had insulted, and the others, by now conditioned to believe that an orgy or something similar was expected, began getting physically involved in different rooms of the apartment in various stages of undress. Just when the party was at its climax, Gurdjieff briskly disengaged himself and thundered forth orders for the revels to cease. He proclaimed that the lesson had been accomplished, that the guests had already amply verified through their behavior the soundness of his observations made earlier in the evening. He said that thanks to him, they were now partly conscious of their true condition and that he would gladly accept from them checks and cash in payment for this important lesson. Peters noted, without surprise knowing Gurdjieff, that the take came to several $1,000s. When everyone had left, Gurdjieff went into the kitchen to help Peters with the dishes, asking at the same time how he had enjoyed the evening. "I was disgusted," came the reply. Gurdjieff laughed and scrutinized his companion with a piercing look. He said, "Is fine feeling you have this disgust, but now is necessary ask yourself one question. With whom you disgusted?" This is the real situation. What you show on the surface is one thing. Those guests were annoyed, angered by the observation of George Gurdjieff that humanity has become very degraded, that what you do on the surface is one thing, and what you mean deep inside is another. You may give explanations and you may rationalize, but your rationalizations are just rationalizations and nothing else. Deep down, something else goes on working in the unconscious. You are not even aware of it. Psychologists say that when a woman is raped, in the majority of cases, The woman wanted to be raped. She had the desire. She was inviting it. She was using certain gestures. The way she walked, the way she dressed, the way she talked were all gestures inviting rape. And then one day it happens. And then she looks surprised, angry, violent, goes to the police, fights in court. And if she had looked deep down in her own mind, she would have been more surprised. That it was her own effort, her own desire which had been fulfilled. There are people who go on living in this double way, not even aware of what their real motives inside are. Watch, and that watching will make you very, very alert. Just watch. What is your real motive? Don't try to convince yourself that this is not so. Just become a mirror and see your behavior. Just become a silent watcher of your behavior, always alert as to why you are doing a certain thing, from where it is coming. And then you will see you have a dual being. One is the personality which says one thing, and the other is your reality which goes on doing just the opposite. And somehow they both have to manage with each other, hence the conflict, the friction, and the wastage of energy. And it happens almost in all cases that you have one desire inside and just the opposite on the outside. And why the opposite? Because through the opposite, you are repressing that desire. The person who feels inferior deep inside pretends to be very superior on the outside. Only inferior people want to be superior. Those who are really superior don't care a bit. All people who suffer from inferiority complexes become politicians, because that is the only way to prove that they are very superior. The person who has the look on his face of holier than thou knows that deep inside just the opposite is the case. He is suffering from guilt. He is suffering deep down from unworthiness. He knows that he is unholy. Now the only way to hide it from the world is to have a mask of holiness. Your so-called saints are not a bit different from the sinners. The only difference is sinners are honest, and your saints are not honest. Out of 100 saints, if you can find even one saint who is really a saint, that will be more than enough, more than one can expect. 99 are just pretending. And I am not saying that they are pretending only to you. The pretension can go so deep that not only are they deceiving others, they start deceiving themselves. In fact, to deceive yourself, first you have to deceive others. Only then can you believe in it. When others start believing that you are a saint, only then can you believe in it. The real saint is not concerned with others at all. He knows who he is. Even if the whole world says that he is not a saint, that doesn't matter. His understanding is inner. His encounter is directly with himself. His experience is immediate and existential. He knows his essence, and to know one's essence is the first step in knowing God, in becoming immortal, in going beyond death. Henri Bergson spoke at the beginning of this century. He said, "The addition to the body brought by technology calls for a corresponding addition to the soul. The modern person looks more soulless than in any other age, and the reason is, science and technology have added much to the body. The body has become stronger, lives longer. The brain has become stronger, has become more knowledgeable. Compared to the body and the brain is part of the body, the soul has remained very, very poor. It is almost neglected, ignored. Nobody cares about it. Who thinks about one's own essence? Going to the church or to the temple is not going to help. You will have to go within yourself. You will have to put off your shoes. You will have to go into your naked essence. Only then will you be able to reconnect yourself with the cosmos. It is from there that you can be bridged again with reality." Now let's turn to the sutras. Master Lu Tzu said, "Only the primal spirit and the true nature overcome time and space." What I have been telling you about essence, Master Lu Tzu calls the primal spirit. The primal spirit is your essential soul, that which you have brought from God, untaught, unconditioned, as you were in your mother's womb. How did you exist in your mother's womb? Nothing was taught to you. You had no mind. You existed in a state of no mind, hence the blissfulness of it. Psychologists say that because of the experience of the mother's womb, those 9 months, humanity has been searching for God. The memory haunts us. Those 9 months were the most beautiful that you have known. Maybe you have forgotten consciously, but deep down in the very cells of your body, in the very fibers of your being, those days are still pulsating. Those days are still carried by your existence. They may not be conscious in your mind, but they are there. Just as when in the night you fall into deep sleep, you don't know where you go and what happens to you, but in the morning you feel the relaxation, the freshness, the joy. Life has happened to you again. All the dust that you had gathered has disappeared. You are again fresh, rejuvenated. Your body carries the feeling. Your body is calm and quiet and remembers something. The remembrance is not in the brain. You don't know what happened exactly, where you had gone. Only a Buddha knows where he goes in his deep sleep, because even in his deep sleep, he remains alert. You are not alert even when you are supposedly awake. Your eyes are open, but your mind goes on weaving and spinning 1,001 thoughts. The inner talk continues. The inner noise continues. You see, and yet you don't see, and you hear, and yet you don't hear, because deep inside there is a wall of thoughts, dreams continuously floating in the sky of your consciousness. You are not alert even when you are awake. The Buddha is alert even when he is fast asleep. Only he knows where he goes. Where does he go? He goes to the essence, to the source, to the primal spirit. And even if for a few moments at night you fall into the primal source, you are rejuvenated. The person who cannot fall into deep sleep is really in hell. He goes to bed tired, exhausted, bored with life, and gets up in the morning even more tired, more bored, more exhausted. His life is hell. In deep sleep, you simply slip back into the primal source of your being. That primal source is always there. You have not lost it, you have only forgotten it. And that primal source is beyond all dualities. It is neither the life nor the death that you know. It is transcendental. It is beyond all kinds of dualities. It is God. Only the primal spirit and the true nature overcome time and space. When you are in the primal spirit, you are in your true nature. When you are in your personality, you are untrue. You are just a plastic phenomenon. Watch, and you will be surprised how many things are plastic in you. You smile when there is no smile in the heart. Then it is plastic. You sympathize when there is no sympathy in you. It is plastic. You show joy when there is no joy in you. It is plastic. You can even cry and weep without your heart feeling anything. Then those tears are plastic. Just watch how many things are plastic in you. And remember, whatsoever is plastic is not you. God has not made you a plastic thing. God has given you eternal life. But that eternal life you can find only when you put off your shoes. Put off your personality. Drop all personas, all masks. Let all masks disappear. It will be painful because you have become identified with those masks. You think they are your faces. It is going to be almost a very painful process of death. And not only once, you will have to die many times, because each time a face falls, you will find a death has happened. But again, new life will be released in you, fresher, deeper, more vibrant. When all the faces disappear and the essence is left alone, you have transcended all duality, even the duality of time and space. When you enter deep meditation, when you enter your essential being, there is no space and no time. You cannot say where you are. All wheres disappear. You cannot pinpoint the place. Either you are nowhere or you are everywhere. These are the only two possibilities. Both mean the same. A few people have chosen to say one is everywhere. Vedanta has chosen to say that in deep meditation one is everywhere. Aham Brahmasmi, I am God. God means one who is everywhere, who permeates the whole of existence. You become space itself. And I am always, I am eternal. It means you permeate time. This is one way of expressing it, the positive way. Buddhism has chosen the other, the negative way. Buddha says, in deep meditation you are nowhere. All space has disappeared, and there is no time. You are in a timeless state. And when there is no time and no space, how can you exist? Man exists only at the crossing point of time and space. One line of time, another line of space cross, and at that crossing the ego arises. Take away these two lines, and the point of the ego disappears. It was only a crossing of two lines. It was a fallacious idea. So Buddha says there is nobody. In deep meditation, time disappears, space disappears, and you disappear. All disappears. There is only nothingness, shunya, zero. This is the negative way of saying the same thing. Either you can say, I am God, if you choose the positive expression, which has its own dangers, its own beauties too. Or you can choose the negative expression, anatta, no self, nothingness, nirvana. It has its own beauties and its dangers too. The very idea of nothingness puts people off. That is the danger. Who wants to be nothing? In his 40 years of ministry, again and again Buddha is asked, why should one try to be nothing? That would be a death, ultimate death. And Buddha says, yes, it is an ultimate death, but it is beautiful. And the questioners ask, but to whom is it beautiful? Because there is nobody. And Buddha says, there is only beauty, beatitude, and nobody to experience it. Naturally, the human mind says, but then what is the point? If I'm not there, and it is very beautiful, so let it be beautiful, but I'm not there, so whether it is beautiful or not makes no difference to me. Why should I lose myself? It is better to be in a world which is not so beautiful, but where, at least, I am. The goal of nothingness puts people off. That's why Buddhism disappeared from India, and it learned a lesson. In China, it dropped the negative language. In Tibet, it dropped the negative language. Indian Buddhism, the original Buddhism, was absolutely negative. Under the influence of Buddha, thousands were transformed, but you cannot find a person like Buddha every day. The impact of Buddha was such that people were even ready to die and become nothing. That was because of Buddha. Otherwise, there is no enchantment, no charm in being nothing. But Buddha's magnetism was such, his charisma was such, that thousands of people were ready to become nothing. If Buddha says it, it must be right. His word was so important, his eyes were a witness to it. He has disappeared, so let us also disappear. And if he says so, then we can trust. But once Buddha disappeared from the earth, Buddhist priests could not convince people. They had to disappear from India completely. Then they learned a lesson. Outside India, Buddhism started using positive language, started using all that Buddha had denied. It survived, but it did not really survive as Buddhism. It survived as Vedanta. It survived as a positive language. And Buddha's greatest contribution was the negative expression. The beauty of the negative expression is that it never allows your ego any satisfaction, any gratification. That is the danger of the positive language. If you say, Aham Brahmashmi, I am God, Anal Haq, I am truth, the danger is that truth may become secondary and the I may become primary. Truth may become your shadow. The emphasis may start concentrating on the word I am God. If the emphasis remains on God and the I remains just a shadow to God, it is perfectly good. But that is very difficult. The I is very cunning. The ego's ways are very subtle. It will use the opportunity. It will jump upon the idea. It will say, right, I am God and nobody else is. I am truth and everybody else is a lie. But then the whole point is missed. But one thing is certain, time and space disappear. Either you have to declare, I am all, the whole space, the whole time, I am everywhere and every when, or you have to use the Buddhist expression, I am not. Time is not, space is not. There is only an absolute silent nothing from eternity to eternity. A silence, not even a ripple. But both statements indicate the same thing. Expressions are different, fingers are different, but they point to the same moon. That moon is your essence. If you're finding this exploration of essence in the primal spirit enlightening, you can support my work on future audiobooks. You can do this by trying a free 30-day Audible trial. It's a great way to access more enlightening content while helping me continue this project. Now, back to our journey. Master Lu Tzu said, only the primal spirit and the true nature overcome time and space. And unless you overcome time and space, you will not overcome death. Death exists in time and death exists in space. Unless you overcome time and space, you will not overcome mind and body. Try to understand. Body corresponds to space and mind corresponds to time. Mind is a time phenomenon and body is a space phenomenon. Body exists somewhere and mind exists somewhen. Think of mind without time and you will not be able to think of it. Mind is either past, present, or future, either memory or imagination or the present facticity. Mind exists in 3 tenses. You are listening to me attentively, alert. Mind is in the present. If you are here thinking of other things, you have listened to something in the Bible and it corresponds with me or does not correspond with me. You have gone into your imagination or into your memory. You cannot think of mind if time disappears. Time is synonymous with mind. Humanity is a miniature cosmos, a miniature universe. All that exists outside on a greater scale exists on a small scale in each of us. If you can understand yourself, you will have understood the whole universe, as above, so below. You are the atomic constituent of this whole universe. If one atom is understood, you have understood all matter. If one person is understood, if you can decipher your own mystery, you have deciphered all the mysteries possible, past, present, future. All. And these two things have to be remembered. Body is space, mind is time. When you meditate, you disappear from the body. You don't know who you are. Man, woman, ugly, beautiful, black, white. You simply don't know who you are. When you go in, the body is left far behind. A moment comes when you cannot even locate your body and you cannot even feel its presence. You are no more attached to the form, you have become formless. And the same happens with the mind. You don't know where your mind is, where that mind has gone. All that noise, that traffic noise that was constantly inside, becomes distant, 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 and disappears. Suddenly a great silence explodes in you. In this state of no space and no time, you come to know your essence. And to know one's essence is to have the first glimpse of Tao. The primal spirit is beyond the polar differences. All the polar differences disappear. Man, woman, summer, winter, hot, cold, love, hate, positive, negative, time, space, life, death. All polar opposites disappear. The primal spirit is beyond the polar differences, and that's why I insist again and again that you don't get attached to any polarity. You have been taught to become attached to some polarity. Your so-called religions have been teaching you, either be worldly or renounce and go to the monasteries. I say remain in the world and don't be of it. Otherwise, you will become attached to a polarity. If you go to the monastery, you will be afraid of the marketplace. What kind of attainment is this? If there is fear, there is no attainment. And I know people who have lived in the Himalayas. Then they become afraid. Then they don't want to come to the world because whatsoever they have been experiencing in the Himalayas disappears when they come to the marketplace. If it disappears in the marketplace, it is no attainment. It may have been just the silence of the Himalayas that you mistook for your silence. It was borrowed. Certainly the Himalayas are silent. And if you live in that silence, slowly that silence starts permeating you. But it is not your music, it is borrowed. Go away from the Himalayas and it will disappear. This is creating a fallacy. This is enjoying a reflected glory. This is not your own glory. Live in the marketplace and create a Himalaya in your heart. Become silent in the noise. Remain a householder and yet be a sannyasin. That's why I emphasize so much that I don't want my sannyasins to renounce. Nothing has to be renounced. The way of renunciation is the way of the escapist, and the way of renunciation will make you attached to a polar phenomenon. That will not give you freedom. Freedom is in transcendence, and transcendence comes only when you live in the polar opposites simultaneously, together. So be in the world, but don't let the world be in you. Love, and yet don't be lost in it. Relate, and yet be alone, utterly alone. Know perfectly well that all relationship is a game. Play the game and play it as beautifully as possible and as skillfully as possible. A game is after all a game and has to be played beautifully. And follow all the rules of the game, because a game cannot exist without rules. But remember always that it is just a game. Don't become attached to it. Don't become serious in it. Always allow the sense of humor to remain alive in you. Remain sincere but non-serious, and then slowly you will see that the polarities are disappearing. Who is worldly and who is otherworldly? You are both or neither. The primal spirit is beyond the polar differences. Here is the place whence heaven and earth derive their being. When students understand how to grasp the primal spirit, they overcome the polar opposites of light and darkness and tarry no longer in the three worlds. The world of heaven, the world of earth, and the world of hell, the three worlds, they all disappear for the person who knows how to transcend polarities. I told you just a few moments ago that past, present, future, these are the three worlds. Past is hell because it is dead, it is ghostly, ghosts following you. Present is the earth, the facticity, the fact, that which is right now and here. And future is heaven, hopes, aspirations, desires, longings. These are the three worlds, and you have to move in these three worlds constantly. You are shuttled back and forth. From the past, you jump to the future. From the future, you jump to the past. And this goes on. And the present is so minute that you are not very aware of it. It is sandwiched between the past and the future, and they are vast. And the present is a very minute atomic moment, so small that you don't even see it. The moment you become aware of it, it is already past. To be present to the present, one needs to be very attentive, utterly attentive. And that's why to be present to the present becomes the door to go beyond time. You cannot go from the past because the past is so vast, infinite. You can go on and on. You will not find the end of it. That's why I say psychoanalysis will not help. It goes into the past and it goes on unraveling the past, digging up the past. You can go on. Psychoanalysis continues for years, 3 years, 7 years, and even then it is not complete. One simply becomes bored with the psychoanalyst, and then changes the psychoanalyst and goes to somebody else and starts from ABC again. And one thing I would like to say to you, sooner or later, psychoanalysis is bound to discover that this life is not the end of the past. You can go on moving backwards, and you can come to what Janov calls the primal scream. The primal scream is the ultimate of psychoanalysis, the first scream of the child when he started breathing. Through it he started breathing, the first scream. But once you have reached there, you will be surprised. That is not the beginning either. Then you have to move into the womb. In the East, we have tried it. We have a very, very deep-going method called pratiprasav, going back, going back. Mahavir used it, Buddha used it. They went through the womb. And then again you have to go through death, because before the womb you died, and then the whole life again, layer upon layer. It is through deep psychoanalysis that the East became aware of the phenomenon of many lives. Christianity, Judaism, Islam are not aware of it. They never tried so hard. They have never tried psychoanalysis. Freud is the first Jew to have tried it, and of course Christians and Jews and all the so-called religious people were against him. The fear is that if psychoanalysis goes deeper, sooner or later the Hindu idea of rebirth will be proved right. That is the fear. If you go on digging, you will find layer upon layer. Where will you end? Thousands of lives you have lived as a human, and we have tried to penetrate all those. But even then there is no end. One day suddenly, you see that before this life you were not human. You were an elephant or a tiger or a dog. And then you start moving into animal lives. And after millions of lives, you will suddenly one day discover that before that you were a bush or a tree, and then a rock. In India we say you have passed millions of lives. Where can it lead? The analysis of the past cannot lead anywhere. It can drive you crazy, but it leads nowhere. And so is the case with the future. Where to stop? How far is far enough? Where to make a point that now we will not look ahead? In the East we have tried that too, because we have worked tremendously on the concept of time. And both are unending. Memory is unending. Imagination is unending. Between the two is the present moment. Very tiny, so tiny that you cannot become aware of it if you are not absolutely alert. It goes so fast, it is so fleeting. But if you become aware of the present, then a door opens, the door to eternity. It is from there that mind moves into no mind. It is from there that personality moves beyond personality into essence. You know perfectly well Jesus was crucified. There were 2 thieves who were crucified with him. One was on his left side, the other was on his right side. You may not have ever thought of it as a tremendously significant symbol, but Jesus represents the present moment. One thief is the past, the other thief is the future. And Jesus represents the present moment, closest to God, closest to essence. One thief mocked Jesus. The past always mocks you. He condemned Jesus. The past always condemns you. The other thief asked Jesus about the future. What will happen after death? Will I be able to see you in heaven? One is past, the other is future, and Jesus is just sandwiched between these 2 thieves. And why call them thieves? Past is a thief, future is a thief, because they go on stealing your present. They are thieves. To me, this is a parable. I don't know whether any Christian will agree with me or not, but that is not my business at all. I don't care whether anybody agrees with me or not. Jesus is present, here now, closest to the essence, just ready to die and disappear from the body and the mind. He hesitates a little bit. Everybody hesitates. When you come to the present, you will see eternity facing you. No past, no future, but eternity, a totally different dimension. Past, present, future are horizontal. Eternity is vertical. Again, to me, the cross is the symbol of these two lines crossing. A cross is made of two lines, one horizontal, the other vertical. This is a representation of time and eternity. Everybody hesitates when one faces eternity, nowhereness, nothingness, or allness. It is so much. One is going to disappear into it like a drop. And the ocean is so big, one will not be found again. Even a dewdrop falling into the ocean from a grass leaf hesitates. Jesus hesitated, and I love this man because he hesitated. His hesitation shows that he was human. His hesitation shows that he belonged to us. He was Son of Man. He cried to God, "Have you forsaken me? What are you doing to me? Have you abandoned me? Are you no more with me? I am disappearing and I don't see your hands protecting me. The dewdrop is falling in the ocean. Where are you? I am falling into a deep nothingness. Death has arrived, and I had always hoped that in death you would be there waiting and you would embrace me, you would take me in your fold, you would be warm and loving. But where are you? Have you forsaken me? Have you abandoned me? I don't see you anywhere." In fact, there is no God to be seen. God is not a person. God is a positive name for this absolute nothingness. But Jesus had lived with the Jewish idea of God as a person, hence this turmoil in his mind, the fear in his mind. He can't see. He was waiting to see the beloved, the Father. He used to call the Father Abba. He was waiting to find his Father, but there seems to be nobody. The world is finished and beyond is nothing but a yawning nothingness, an abyss with no bottom. It is very human. The life of Jesus is very human, and that is the beauty of it. That's why it has impressed so many people. His very humanity is touching. But then he saw the point. He must have looked deep into the eternity, the nothingness. He must have seen the point, that God cannot have a human face, this is his face, that God cannot have human hands, this nothingness is ready to embrace me, to take me deep into its heart. And then he said to God, "Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, so be it so, let it be so. So you are nothingness, I am ready, I trust you, I will trust even your nothingness." Every Christian, every Mohammedan, every Hindu, every Jew, whosoever has lived with the idea of God's personality, will have to face this, will have to go through this anxiety period, this anguish. That is the beauty of the Buddha's idea and the Taoist idea that God is nothingness, another name for nothingness. One who has lived with that idea of nothingness from the very beginning will not hesitate. He will simply disappear into it. The primal spirit is beyond the polar differences. Here is the place whence heaven and earth derive their being. When students understand how to grasp the primal spirit, they overcome the polar opposites of light and darkness, and tarry no longer in the three worlds. But only he who has envisioned human nature's original face is able to do this. Unless you have been able to see your own inner nothingness, you will not be able to do it. First meditate and go into your inner nothingness, then you will be able to enter into the nothingness of existence itself. When men are set free from the womb, the primal spirit dwells in the square inch. This is a Taoist map. Don't get puzzled. There are different maps of human consciousness. Different maps use different symbols. This is a Taoist map. Taoists say that after a child is born from the womb, the primal spirit starts dwelling in the third eye. Between the two eyes, between the two exists the third, exactly in the middle, what the yoga map calls Ajna Chakra, the third eye center. That's what Taoists call the dwelling place of the primal spirit. The primal spirit dwells in the square inch, but the conscious spirit dwells below in the heart, the ordinary physical heart. This heart is dependent on the outside world. If a man does not eat for one day even, it feels extremely uncomfortable. If it hears something terrifying, it throbs. If it hears something enraging, it stops. If it is faced with death, it becomes sad. If it sees something beautiful, it is dazzled. But the heavenly heart in the head, that is, in the third eye center, when would it have moved in the least? Dost thou ask, can the heavenly heart not move? Then I answer, how could the true thought in the square inch move? This physical heart is constantly dependent on the outside world. It is affected by the outside world. It is part of the outside world inside you. This is not the true heart. Taoists say the true heart is in the third eye. It moves not, it is unmoving, it is always the same. The physical heart is always in chaos, and the spiritual heart in the third eye is always in order. It is order itself. That's why Hindus have called it Ajna Chakra, the center from which orders arise. Discipline arises. If something comes from the third eye, it is immediately followed. The whole body follows it, the whole being follows it. It is the center from which commandments are issued. But it is fast asleep. You live from the physical heart. You have not known your spiritual heart yet. The lower heart moves like a strong, powerful commander who despises the heavenly ruler because of his weakness. But the physical heart thinks that the spiritual heart is weak because it moves not. And because it moves not, you remain unaware of it. You only become aware of things when they move. If something remains absolutely unmoving, you become oblivious to it. And the lower heart thinks itself very strong and thinks the heavenly heart, the spiritual heart, as being weak, almost dead, because it moves not, and has usurped the leadership in affairs of state. And because of this, the lower heart has become the master of you. But when the primal castle can be fortified and defended, then it is as if a strong and wise ruler sat upon the throne. But if you start becoming more and more alert and more conscious, you will find that you have fortified the primal castle in the third eye. Whenever you become aware, you will be surprised you start functioning from the third eye. Just become a little bit aware, and you will see a little strain on the third eye. Whenever you become alert, the strain is more on the third eye. Something starts throbbing in the third eye. Something starts pulsating in the third eye. Once awareness has made the third eye function, once awareness has moved into the third eye and it starts functioning, becomes alive. That's why Hindus call it a chakra. Chakra means a wheel. The wheel needs energy. Once the energy comes in, the wheel starts moving. By movement is meant that it starts functioning. Then a great revolution happens in your being. Immediately the lower heart bows down to the higher heart. When the higher comes, the lower always bows down. It rules only when the higher is not present. And that is the difference between a real religion and an unreal religion. The unreal religion says to you, try to control yourself. Do this, don't do that. Control your senses, discipline your body. The real religion says, just go into the third eye center and let the spiritual heart function, and all will be controlled, and all will be disciplined. Let the master arrive, and everything will be settled immediately. The eyes start the light circulating like two ministers at the right and left who support the ruler with all their might. When rule in the center is thus in order, all those rebellious heroes will present themselves with lances reversed, ready to take orders. Just let the master come in, and there is no need to make any effort to create an order in your life. There is no need to cultivate character. That's why I say don't be worried about character. Simply put all your energy into being more conscious. Consciousness is followed by character, as you are followed by your shadow. If you try to cultivate a character, your character will be false, pseudo, and you will become a hypocrite. And this is not the way to reach the ultimate. The way to the elixir of life knows as supreme magic. This is the supreme magic. Why call it magic? Because once the higher heart has started functioning, as if a magical miracle happens, your senses were never in order. Your mind was always confused. You were always hesitating, to do this or to do that, to be or not to be. You were in constant tension, where to go, what to choose. Suddenly, as if somebody has done a miracle, all confusion disappears, clarity arises, life becomes transparent. You simply do that which has to be done. In fact, once the heavenly heart has started functioning, all that you do is good. You cannot do wrong. It is impossible. The way to the elixir of life knows as supreme magic, and three are the constituents of this supreme magic: seed water, spirit fire, and thought earth. These are Taoist symbols, these three. What is seed water? It is the true one energy, eros. Spirit fire is the light, logos. Thought earth is intuition. You will have to understand these three. Seed water is eros, the energy that you know now as sexual energy, the energy of passion. Right now it creates only troubles for you and nothing else. Right now it pretends to be your friend but proves to be your foe. The more you follow it, the more it takes you into miseries. That's why it is said that love is blind. Mullah Nasruddin was saying to me, love is blind and marriage is an eye-opener. Love is blind because you don't have eyes yet, and a great energy that could have become a great blessing to you becomes only misery. Eros is your energy, and Freud is right to seek and search for everything in your eros, in your sexual energy. But he is wrong because he does not know that this ordinary state of sexual energy is not its natural state, it is a perverted state. In its natural state, sexual energy rises higher and higher, it takes you upwards, not downwards. In its natural state, sexual energy becomes the golden flower within you. In the so-called ordinary, perverted state, it simply takes you into new prisons because it moves outward and downward. It dissipates you, it only brings your death closer and closer. If the same energy starts moving upwards, it brings a new life, life in abundance. It becomes the elixir of life. Just as the mud can become a lotus, the mud contains the lotus, the seed of it, so your sexual energy contains the seed of the golden flower. But the energy has to move upwards. You cannot move it upwards. There are people who try to make it move upwards. They become sexual perverts and nothing else. You cannot do it directly, but you can do it indirectly. Once your third eye, your spiritual heart starts functioning, energy starts moving of its own accord. You have created the third eye and the energy is attracted as if towards a magnet. Right now your energy moves outwards because you have magnets outside, far greater than you have inside. You see a beautiful woman and the energy starts moving outwards. The woman functions as a magnet. When your third eye functions, you have such a strong magnet that nobody can pull you outward. It is just a question of having a bigger magnet inside than the one which exists outside. Then the energy moves upwards, inwards. If you go outwards, you will move into the world of duality. If you go inwards, you will move into the world of non-duality. You will become non-polar. This is exactly the foundation of what I call metapsychology, or the psychology of the Buddhas. This is pure religion, not the religion of rituals, but pure religion. Nothing to do with Christianity and Hinduism, but something to do with your energy source. The second is spirit fire. It is light, logos. It is conscious mind. Eros moving upwards takes you beyond conscious and unconscious mind. Logos is conscious mind. It is psychology. It is science. Thought earth is intuition. It is darkness, unconsciousness. It is parapsychology, art. Thought earth is intuition, darkness. Women live in thought earth, in intuitive vision. Women live as unconscious, illogical beings. Men live in spirit fire, logos, logic, conscious mind. Artists are feminine, scientists are masculine. And the seed water, eros, the one energy, is non-dual. It takes you beyond art and beyond science. It takes you beyond the conscious and the unconscious. It takes you beyond man and beyond woman. It takes you into the non-dual, the transcendental. But the secret of the magic is to let your heavenly heart function, which exists between your two eyes. Later on, we will go into the methodology of it, how to help it function. We'll continue our exploration in the next chapter. Chapter 4, I mean business here. The first question comes from Hamid. He asks, the river ultimately reaches the sea. The body goes and there remains only existence, the infinite. What then is this urge and the purpose of getting there now? Isn't it pushing the river? Hamid, the problem is that a person is not a river. A person is very much frozen. There is no flow in our being. We are like ice, not like water. If a person is a river, there is no need to push it. It will ultimately reach the ocean. It has already reached. In that very flow, it has become part of the ocean. To be flowing is to be oceanic, but a person is not flowing, hence the urge. The ice wants to melt, hence the effort. Once the ice has melted, then there is no need to push anything. Then everything happens of its own accord. A person has become a rock. And the reason we have become non-flowing rocks is the mind. The body is perfectly flowing, and so is the soul. But between the two, the link, the mind, is frozen ice. Once the mind goes deeper into meditation, it starts melting. That's what meditation is all about. An effort to melt the mind. You say the river ultimately reaches the sea. That's true, but first become a river. You say, the body goes and there remains only existence, the infinite. True, but between the body and the soul there is a mind clinging to you, or you clinging to it. The body goes, but you don't become the infinite because you are not only surrounded by a body, that is your physical limitation, there is a psychological limitation inside it. Through the death of the body, the mind will not die, it will take rebirth. It will move into another womb, because it will carry so many desires which are to be fulfilled. It will again seek another womb, another body with which to fulfill those desires. That is the very foundation of the theory of reincarnation. Mind desires, and if desires are there, then opportunities will arise in which those desires will be fulfilled. God cooperates with you. If you have desires like a dog, you will become a dog. You will have the body of a dog. Your mind creates the blueprint, and then the body follows. The body is a projection of the mind, not vice versa. Unless the mind disappears completely, you will be born again and again. Once the mind is gone, then it is perfectly true, Hamid. The body disappears and you are the infinite. In fact, if the mind is not there, you are the infinite without the disappearance of the body, without the death of the body. There is no need to wait for that. Buddha is infinite even when he is in the body because he knows he is not the body. Buddha is infinite when he leaves the body. There is no difference for him. Living in the body or leaving the body is the same. You live in a house, but you don't think that you are the house. Exactly like that, an awakened consciousness lives in the body. It uses the body just as you use a car. You sit in the car, you drive the car, you know that you are not the car. You can get out of it any moment. You need not wait for an accident to happen when the car is destroyed to feel that you are not the car. And if you don't know it when the car is there and you are in it, how are you going to know it when the car is not there? Just through the death of the body, you will not know that you are infinite. Either you are infinite here now, or you will never be. Infinity is your nature. The real problem is not the body. The body is not the culprit, as the so-called religions have been telling you. The body is the culprit. The body is not the culprit at all. The body is utterly innocent and beautiful. The culprit is the mind. The mind is the devil. You will have to dissolve the mind, hence the urge, hence the purpose of all the methodologies that have been developed down the ages. Tao, Yoga, Tantra, Zen, Hasidism. Become a river, and then nothing is needed. That's what the secret of the golden flower says. Achieve inaction through action. Achieve effortlessness through effort. But first comes the effort, the action. It will melt you, and then the river starts flowing. In that very flow, it has reached the ocean. Our second question is from Sagar Priya. She asks, I find it almost impossible to surrender to the male ego. Instead, I become competitive, resistant, or frightened. Can you say something about this? Sagar Priya, the ego is neither male nor female. The ego is simply the ego. The one who becomes resistant to the male ego is the female ego. You are aware of the male ego, but you're not aware of your own ego. Who is resistant to surrender? Become more aware of your own ego, and then things will be easier. Everybody is aware of the ego of the other, but nothing can be done about the ego of the other. All that can be done is only with yourself. You say, I find it almost impossible to surrender to the male ego. Who is this who finds it almost impossible? Find out, and then you will be surprised. Ego is ego. It is neither male nor female. Don't divide it. Egos have no sex, no gender. It is the same disease. If a woman has cancer, it is cancer. If a man has cancer, it is cancer. It is not male and female. Exactly like that is the ego, the cancer of the mind. And who is telling you to surrender to the male ego? Surrender is never to the other. When two persons fall in love, both surrender to love. Nobody surrenders to the other. If there is an effort from the other that you should surrender to him, avoid him. This is not love. Love never demands surrender. Surrender happens naturally in love. There is no demand for it. If the man demands surrender from your side, he does not love you. Don't get entangled in such an unloving affair. He hates you, otherwise why should he demand surrender? He wants to possess you. He wants to reduce you into a thing. He wants to use you, exploit you. He thinks of you only as a body, as a mechanism. He does not respect you as a person, as a presence. This is humiliating. This is not love. Avoid it. But surrender happens when there is love. And nobody demands and nobody surrenders to the other, neither the man to the woman, nor the woman to the man. They both surrender to the God of love. They both surrender to this new opening in their being. And when both surrender to love, there is beauty and there is freedom. You are not reduced to being a slave. In fact, only in love do you attain dignity. Only in love do you attain to your grandeur. Only in love is your splendor released. This is the indication of real love, that you become more than you were before, not less, and you are freer than you ever were. Love gives freedom. That is the very taste of love. If it is missing, if it is anti-freedom, then avoid it as one avoids the plague. Don't get into it. It is something else masquerading as love. But when love is there, you will find surrender has already happened. It is simultaneous. The moment you feel love for somebody, the surrender has happened. That is what love is. Not surrender, let me repeat again, to the other, but surrender to an unknown force that has taken possession of you both. But that is totally different from you and totally different from the other. You both have bowed down to an unknown energy. You become two pillars separate from each other, still supporting the same roof. You support something that is beyond you, above you, that transcends you, but you remain separate. Love makes you more of an individual. It does not efface your individuality. It gives you individuality. It gives you uniqueness. Love is very respectful. Sagapriya, you say, I find it almost impossible to surrender to the male ego. Instead, I become competitive, resistant, or frightened. These are the ways of the ego. The other may have the ego, may not have the ego. I don't know about the other. Who is that other? But one thing is certain. You have a very subtle ego. That ego becomes competitive. Ego is competitive, intrinsically competitive. The ego becomes resistant or frightened. And in the fear, in the resistance, in the struggle, in the competitiveness, love is destroyed. One thing is certain. You have to become aware of your subtle egoistic approach towards life. Drop it. At least from your side, let it disappear. And then you will be surprised. Maybe the other was not demanding any surrender. It was just your ego that projected it onto the other. If it is so, now you can surrender to love. If it is not so, and the other is still demanding, and you will be able to know rightly only when there is no resistance in you, when there is no fear in you, no competition in you, then you will have clarity, you will have a transparency, you will be able to see through and through. And immediately you will know whether the other is demanding a surrender to him or the demand is coming from something which is beyond you both. If it is from beyond you both, surrender. If it is coming from the other, avoid it. That other person is mad. He needs all compassion. Pity him, but don't fall in love. Because to fall in love with an egomaniac is dangerous. He will destroy you. This much you owe to yourself. Now for our third question from Kavita. She asks, you spoke of the silence one finds in the Himalayas, that it is of the Himalayas, borrowed, and will leave when one returns to the marketplace. Is this true of the silence I am finding in your presence? Is it borrowed? Will it disappear when I leave from here? Kavita, this place is a marketplace. Can you find any other place which is more like the market? I could have made the ashram somewhere in the Himalayas. I love the Himalayas. For me, it is a great sacrifice not to be in the Himalayas. But for a certain purpose, I have not made my ashram in the Himalayas. I want to remain part of the marketplace. And this ashram is run almost as part of the marketplace. That's why Indians are very annoyed. They cannot understand. They have known ashrams for centuries, but this ashram is beyond their comprehension. They cannot think that you have to pay to listen to a religious discourse. They have always listened free of charge. Not only free of charge, but after the discourse, the ashram distributes prasad too. Many go to listen to the discourses not because of the discourse, but for the prasad. Here you have to pay. What am I doing? I want it to be absolutely a part of the marketplace, because I want my sannyasins not to move into the monasteries. They have to remain in the world. Their meditation should grow in the world. Their meditation should not become escapist. So whatsoever peace you are finding here, you will be able to retain anywhere you go. There will be no problem, not at all. I have been managing things in such a way that all that can disturb you anywhere else is present here. so you need not be afraid. Meditators have always been afraid of a few things. For example, they have been afraid of women. Can you find more beautiful women anywhere in India than here? More alive? Living here, being here, you will become completely oblivious of the fact of who is a man and who is a woman. How long can you go on persisting in making the distinction? The future belongs neither to man nor to woman. The future will be a kind of androgyny. The distinction between man and woman is going to disappear more and more. In the past, the distinction was very much created, culture-oriented. A girl had to be brought up in a different way than a boy, in an utterly different way. I am not saying that there is no difference. There is a difference between man and woman, but that difference is only biological. But society creates a psychological difference. These things are allowed for boys only, because boys are boys, and these things are not allowed for girls. A psychological difference is created from the very beginning. The difference that you see between men and women in the world is 99% created, nurtured. It is not natural. There is a 1% difference that is biological. That doesn't matter. Living here, you live in such a togetherness that you will become oblivious of the fact of who is a man and who is a woman. In the old days, with the old-style sannyas, people had to go away from women to caves, to monasteries. There are Christian monasteries where no woman has ever entered, has ever been allowed to enter. On Mount Athos, there is a monastery for 1,200 years. Not a single woman has been allowed to enter. And what to say of a woman? Not even a girl of the age of 6 months, not even a 6-month-old girl has been allowed. Just see the fear. And what kind of people must be living there if they cannot even allow a 6-month-old girl? Maniacs called monks or monkeys, but not men, must be mad. And it is in the monasteries that all kinds of monstrosities have arisen. Homosexuality was first born in the monasteries. It is a religious phenomenon. It was bound to be so. If you force men to live together in a place where no woman is ever allowed, sooner or later homosexuality will come. Masturbation is a monastic practice. It came out of monasteries. All kinds of perversions are bound to be there. There are monasteries for women too. Only women are allowed, no men ever. And their whole fantasy world consists of men. They cannot get magazines like Playboy, but who needs them when you have enough time to fantasize? Their fantasy is so pornographic that magazines like Playboy are nothing. Their fantasies are more psychedelic. These people who have lived in such a monastery, if they are allowed to come back to the world, naturally their meditation, their prayer, their religion, all will be disturbed. Monks have been very afraid of money. Naturally, if they come into the world, money has to be tackled. You cannot live in the world without money. And monks have been so afraid that they will not even touch money. See the fear, the obsession. Acharya Vinoba Bhave, the chief disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, does not touch money. But what kind of obsession is this? Touching a 10-rupee note, how can it harm you? And if it can harm you, what kind of spirituality is this? Such an impotent spirituality. Not only can he not touch it, but if you bring money in front of him, he closes his eyes. He cannot even look. His guru, Mahatma Gandhi, used to keep 3 monkeys. Somebody had given him a present. Knowing him, the present was exactly the right one. One monkey is sitting with both his hands over his eyes, not looking. Don't look at many things in life because it is dangerous. Another monkey is sitting with his hands over his ears. Don't listen to many things because it is dangerous. And the third monkey is sitting with his hands over his mouth. Don't say many things because it is dangerous. And the monk has to do all 3 things together. That's why I say a monk is a monkey 3 times over. Such a person, who cannot open his eyes, cannot open his ears, cannot open his mouth, if he comes into the world, will be in difficulties, naturally. He will find that all is disturbed, all is destroyed. And in India, the calamity is that these monkeys have become the leaders of this country. Perverted people, suffering from abnormalities, not natural, not flowing, not in Tao. My whole effort here is to create a miniature world where money is absolutely accepted, where women and men live together in joy, in celebration, without fear, where all that goes on in the world also continues and alongside meditation grows. It becomes stronger and stronger because all the challenges are there. You can go, Kavita, anywhere you like. Nobody can take your peace away. Your silence is yours. It is not because of me. You have earned it. You have gained it. And a related question from Sucheta. So what? What do you mean society with its rules? What about this place? Bullshit, Osho, bullshit. It's all bullshit. I have not been hard on her yet, hence the question. But from now onwards, she will know. I've been really nice to her, and I am rarely nice to people. This place has more rules than any other place. Those rules are a device to create a certain situation in you, a challenge. The question has arisen in her mind because she wants to work with children, and I have said no. I have told her to work somewhere else. If I go with your likes and dislikes, your choices, I am Bhagwan. In this question she has not written Bhagwan. Otherwise she always writes, Beloved Bhagwan, beloved Master. The question directly starts, so what? I cannot leave you to yourself, otherwise I will not be of any help. Just because Sucheta wants to work with children, I cannot allow her, because I have to take care of the children too. I cannot spoil their life. Sucheta, you are spoiled by your parents, by your family, by your society. I cannot send you to the children. You are not yet capable of that. Just because you choose, anybody can choose anything, but here things have to go according to me, not according to you. Remember it. If you cannot be patient enough, then this is not the place for you. Then you can leave. Guards are at every gate to prevent people from coming in, but I have not put any guards there to prevent people from going out. You can leave immediately. If you have to be here, you have to be according to me. Only then can I be of any help. I know what is needed. It is not always what you like which is your need. Your like comes out of your mind, and your mind has to be destroyed. I cannot listen to your likes and dislikes. All these rules are made by me. The moment you become a sannyasin, you give this much authority to me, that I will decide a few things for you. And if you want to become an ashramite, then you have to give 100% authority to me. That is the meaning of becoming an inmate of the ashram. She wanted to be in the ashram, and I have put her outside because she is not yet capable of it. Just listen to the question and you will see. You will have to earn it. And this is not the way to earn it, remember. It is very easy to lose this opportunity that is available to you. Your ego can become a problem, can create problems for you. Either you have to listen to your ego or you have to listen to me. You will have to change your whole pattern of thinking. You will have to change your very language of life, otherwise you will misunderstand. These rules are for a certain purpose. Madhuri was living in Lao Tzu house, and suddenly I sent her to live in Jesus' house. She cried, but accepted. And she has come closer to me, closer than she ever was in that very acceptance. More love will be showering on her from my side. You can live physically very close to me, that is one thing. She could have resisted, she could have written me an angry letter, but she has not done anything. She has not even uttered a single angry word. She cried, she was sad, and that is natural, but no anger. To live with me in the same house, and then to be sent to live in another house is hard, I know. But she survived the shock, and something immensely valuable has happened through it. Only later on will she understand that this was a blessing. It takes time for you to understand things. But I live in a totally different reality and I decide from there. And I know you live in a different reality. Misinterpretations are bound to be there from your side, but try to understand me. Even if you cannot understand sometimes, silently, patiently, do what I say. It happened that a teacher asked a student, "Do you like Kipling?" The student said, "I don't know, I have never kippled." A marriage counselor asked a wife, "Do you usually wake up grumpy in the morning?" The wife replied, "No, he gets up before I do." "How did you get on with your date last night?" one hippie was asked by an elderly neighbor. "Just great," was the reply. "I finally persuaded her to say yes." "Oh, congratulations. When is the wedding to be?" "Wedding? What wedding?" To a hippie, it is a different world. Yes does not mean marriage. "Vicar, you told me I must have faith, hope, and charity." "That's right," said the vicar. "Well," the man replied, "when I tried, they called the police." And the last, "Are you sure that it was a marriage license you gave me last month?" a man asked. Yes, sir. What's the matter? I thought there might be some mistake, seeing that I have lived a dog's life ever since. Sucheta, if you want to be here, you will have to learn my language, my way of seeing things, and you have to come with me. Otherwise, this is not the place for you. Then don't waste your time here. Then it is better to leave this place soon, the sooner the better, because if you don't go with me, one day or another you will have to leave. And then you will feel very miserable, because all those days that you stayed here will look like a wastage. If you want to be with me, then be with me totally as possible, then only something can happen. This happening is difficult because from your side there are so many hindrances. Now for our fifth question. It begins. I found the comments on rape in yesterday's discourse very offensive, namely that women who are raped wanted it. This has been proven to be absolutely incorrect. Then why have you not signed the question? First, I did not say that all the women who are raped were desiring it. I said in the majority of cases. Remember it makes a lot of difference. And it is only an example. There are people who go through a car accident who wanted it, were accident prone, were hoping somehow that something would happen, were desiring it deep down, were suicidal. The mind that you know is not all. Below it, there is a greater unconscious mind. In that unconscious mind, you harbor many things of which you are not aware. There may be a person who is suicidal, but not courageous enough to commit suicide. He will seek ways and means to commit suicide in a vicarious way. A car accident. He will not be responsible at all. Nobody will say that he committed suicide. Nobody will say later on that he was a coward, that he could not face life. It is easier to have a car accident than to commit suicide. And as far as rape is concerned, just look into your unconscious, look into your dreams. It is very rare to find a woman who has not dreamt of being raped. There is a certain attraction in it. What is the attraction? The attraction is that you are so irresistible that a person is ready to commit rape. You are so irresistible that a person is ready to go to jail for 10 years, or if it's a Mohammedan country, is ready to die. If a rape is committed in a Mohammedan country and the person is caught, death is the penalty. And you will be surprised. More rapes are committed in Mohammedan countries than anywhere else. Maybe the person who commits the rape wants to commit suicide. And this is a beautiful way to commit suicide. Can you find a better way? A brave way too. And dying for love. So poetic, so romantic. There's some violence involved in sex. Even in ordinary sex, when no rape is committed, something of rape is involved. The woman always says no. Why? Because if she says yes too easily, then there is no longer that feeling that I am needed, utterly needed. She goes on saying no, and goes on meaning yes. She goes on saying no. She is provoking the man. She wants the man to be after her. She wants the man to force her. The very effort to force her, the very effort to drag her into lovemaking makes her feel good. She is needed. This is a poor state of mind, but it is how people are. So first I said in the majority of cases. There are accidents also. You may not be thinking of rape at all, and a madman comes and rapes you. I'm not excluding those cases. That's why I didn't say 100%. In the majority of cases, whatsoever happens to you, rape, murder, disease, is somehow, somewhere desired by you. But I am not saying in all cases. Now, psychologists are aware that when people are prone to certain diseases, for example, near the age of 42 people have heart attacks. Why near the age of 42? Because that is the time when people start succeeding, or have succeeded. They have the money they always wanted and now they don't know what to do. Success is there and they are shocked by it. They have always lived in the hope that they will have this much money, this woman, this house, this car, and they have it. Now what? Suddenly the heart stops beating. Now what? All direction seems to be lost. If they don't have the heart attack, they will be very miserable. The heart attack relieves them. Now they can say to the world, I have to rest. The doctors have suggested rest. I cannot do any hard work. They cannot rest without an excuse. The heart attack becomes the excuse. If they simply rest, people will say, what are you doing? At the prime of your life, on the last rung of your success, what are you doing? You can have more money. This is the time, because when you have money, more money comes. When you have success, more success comes. What are you doing? Relaxing, retiring. And they will not have any excuse. The heart attack is a beautiful excuse. Nobody will say they have escaped from the world. Nobody will throw the responsibility on them. What can they do? The whole responsibility goes to the heart attack. People are not conscious of all that goes on deep inside them. You say, I found the comments on rape in yesterday's discourse very offensive. But why are they so offensive, and only to one person? Nobody else has written, nobody has felt any offense. If you are a lady, and I hope that you are, because if you are a gentleman, then things will be more complicated. So I trust that you are a lady. Why are you feeling so offended? You must be carrying the desire inside you, hence the offense. Otherwise there is no offense. I am a madman, I go on saying things. Why should you be offended? I am not a scientist, I am not a psychologist, I am nobody. I just like gossiping. Why should you be offended? I am not a consistent man. I go on contradicting myself. You can just wait for a few days and I will contradict myself. I will say it has never happened. Whenever a woman is raped, she's not responsible. It's the male ego, male violence. Just wait. You have to be patient with me. I contradict myself. But why are you offended? I must have touched a sore spot in you. Something like a wound must be there. Deep down somewhere in the unconscious, you want to be raped. That's why there is so much anger, so much offense. And you are afraid too, naturally. That's why you have not signed the question. Always remember to sign it. And if you are very much afraid, you can write somebody else's name, but sign it. Then you can enjoy, and the other will be beaten. No need to be worried about it. And you say, this has been proven to be absolutely incorrect. Do you know that nothing is ever proven absolutely? Nothing. Humanity has not proven anything absolutely. There is no possibility of proving anything absolutely. New discoveries, new facts, new data, and changes have to be made. Even scientific discoveries are not absolute, so how can psychological discoveries be absolute? Psychology is not yet a science, it is still fictitious. At most you can call it, if you like the word scientific, you can call it science fiction, but it has nothing to do with science yet. It is struggling to be scientific, but I don't think that it ever will be, because the human mind is like mercury. You cannot make a science out of it. And the human mind is not a single phenomenon. There are as many minds as there are people. All that psychology can hope for is to think about the average mind. But you never come across the average. You always come across the unique. No scientific explanation is possible about the unique mind. Psychology is not yet a science, and even science cannot claim absoluteness. What Newton did is no longer right. It looked so absolute in those days. It is no longer right. Do you think what Einstein has done will remain right for long? It cannot. It is not in the very nature of things. Life is such a mystery that the more you know about it, the more you will have to create new hypotheses to include the new facts. Have you known men and women totally? Have you fathomed the feminine mind so totally that you know absolutely that it is incorrect? Nothing is absolutely correct. Nothing is absolutely incorrect. All are guesses. All are guesses. One may be a little closer to the truth, another may not be so close. But what I said has not to be taken as a general statement. It has to be taken as an object for meditation. You just meditate over it. I'm not concerned about general truths. I'm talking to disciples. You have to look into yourself. If you are a woman disciple, just look into yourself. Is there not somewhere a lurking desire to be raped? And if it is there, it is better to know about it. It is better to bring it to the conscious completely, because once something becomes conscious, it disappears. It can exist only in the unconscious. In the unconscious, it is dangerous. If you bring it to the conscious, it evaporates. It is like pulling a tree out of the earth, bringing its roots to the light. Then the tree dies. And that's exactly what happens. Anything that goes on lurking in the unconscious, in the dark chamber of your soul, which is 9 times bigger than your conscious mind, bring it into the conscious mind, bring it into sunlight, and if it comes there, it withers away. What I'm saying here is meant for you to meditate on. If you felt offended, then this is very good for you to meditate over. Go into it. Search into yourself and don't conclude from the very beginning. Don't say this is wrong and has been proved absolutely wrong. First meditate and don't try to prove it wrong or right. Just go with an open mind into your own being and search for it. And you will be surprised that the desire is lurking there. It has a kind of charm in it. One woman went to a priest to confess. She confessed that she had been raped, and she confessed that she had come to the priest because she enjoyed it. That's why she was feeling guilty. If she had not enjoyed it, there would be no question of coming to confess. Then she came the next time and again confessed. And then she came again, and when she came for the fourth time, the priest said, "But this is too much. Are you being raped every week?" She said, "No, this is the same rape." "But then why do you go on coming?" asked the priest. She said, "I enjoy telling it. It feels so good." Just go into yourself, and you will find all kinds of desires lurking in you. You will find something of the sadist that you want to torture others. You will find something of the masochist that you want to torture yourself. You will find all kinds of things in you, because a person is vast. And the unconscious is not an ordered place. It is a chaos. It is a madhouse. But we go on repressing all that. We are so afraid to see. That's why you felt so offended. I must have touched the right spot in you, hence the offense. It is not a question of whether it is proved right or wrong, and I am not interested in that at all. My interest is in making you more and more meditative, more and more aware of your intrinsic innermost desires, longings, perversions, obsessions. If they can be brought to light, they will disappear. And if the unconscious can be emptied completely, you will become a Buddha. So don't simply go on arguing with me, because that's a waste of time and energy. Go in. If you cannot find any desire like that in you, very good. If you find it, that too is very good. You can bring it into the light, and it will disappear. Our sixth question: I'm getting old and losing all interest in women. What should I do? Sir, go on losing your interest. That's perfectly good. Nothing is wrong in it. And be perfectly assured that no woman is going to miss you. On the contrary, they will all be very happy. But in the West, particularly since Freud opened Pandora's box, the idea has arisen that you have to remain sexual to the very end, because sex is synonymous with life. So even if you are 70 or 80, you have to remain interested in sex. If you lose interest in sex, that means you are losing interest in life. That means you are no more needed. That means you are useless now. You can drop dead or go to Parliament, but you are useless. This idea that sex and life are synonymous is utterly baseless. Sex and life are synonymous at a certain stage. In childhood, they are not synonymous. In youth, they are synonymous. In old age, they are again not synonymous. There are phases. The child is not interested, the young person is interested, and the only interest is in sex. But in the West, there is an effort going on to remain young. You should not get old. People go on befooling themselves in many ways that they are still young. New panaceas have been found again and again, new kinds of elixirs that will keep you young forever. And people are so foolish that they are always ready to accept any nonsense to remain young. Old age is thought to be a kind of disease. To be old means you are ill in the West. That is not right. Old age has its own beauties, its own treasures, just as youth has its own beauties and treasures. And certainly the treasures that an old person comes upon are far more valuable than the treasures of youth. Because the old person has lived his youth. He has known all that. He has seen that. He has gone through it. He has lived the illusion, and he has known the disillusionment of it all. Now he is wiser than he ever was. He is becoming innocent again. When sex disappears, you attain to a kind of innocence. You become a child again, and a mature child. In the East, we have a totally different vision of life. In the East, we have respected old people, not the young, because the old are at the peak, life's journey reaching its goal. In the West, the old are just something to be discarded, just to be thrown on some junkyard. You make houses for the old where you go on piling them up, or hospitals. Nobody wants anything to do with old people, as if they were meaningless, worthless. And they have lived their whole life, and they have learnt many secrets of life. They can be great teachers, only they can be teachers. In the East, This has been the traditional way, that the old person should become the teacher of the young, because he has lived, grown, understood. He can give you a better direction, with more maturity, with more clarity. Old age is the age to prepare for death, and that is the greatest preparation because you will be going on the longest journey into the unknown. If you remain interested in sex, it will keep you diverted from death. That's what is happening in the West. In the West, people have not accepted death yet as part of life. Death is a taboo, just as sex was a taboo just 100 years ago. Nobody talked about sex 100 years ago. It was impossible to talk about it or to write about it. It was such a taboo that in the Victorian age, ladies used to cover the legs of their chairs too, because they are legs, and legs should not be shown. Freud introduced a great revolution. The world is waiting for another Freud to destroy the greater taboo of death. He destroyed the taboo of sex, and the world is far better because of it. Freud is one of the greatest benefactors. Another Freud is needed to destroy the other taboo, which is greater. Death has to be accepted. With the acceptance of death, you start accepting old age. And in acceptance, there is relaxation. And once you are no more interested in sex, your whole attention can be focused on death. Remember, sex and death are polar opposites. If you remain interested in sex, when will you prepare for death? Your attention will remain focused on sex, and you will die without any preparation. Meditation is a preparation for death. Now prepare for death. Meditate. You are no more interested in women. Good. Now become interested in your own self. The woman is outside you. That is the interest in the other. Or if you are a woman, then the man is outside you, and that is interest in the other. Now become interested in yourself. Now go into the discovery of the self. Now go on an inward journey. You ask, I'm getting old and losing all interest in women. What should I do? Lose interest. Allow it to happen. Don't try to create it unnecessarily. If it's going on its own, it is beautiful. I have heard of Max, age 76. Upon returning to his apartment late one night, he was startled to find a girl of about 18 ransacking the place. "Young woman, you are a thief," he said. "I'm going to call the police." "Mister," she pleaded, "if I'm arrested again, I'll be sent away for years. Please don't call the police." "I'm sorry, but I have to do it," Max replied. "Look," she cried, "I'll do anything. I'll give you my body." "Okay," said the senior citizen. "Take off your clothes and get in bed." The girl did, and Max quickly followed. He tried and tried and tried for about 20 minutes. Exhausted and in defeat, he finally gave up. "It's no use," sighed Max. "I just can't make it. I'll have to call the police." And you ask me what to do. What should I do? Do you want to call the police? Enough is enough. Now let that nonsense go. Let that obsession go. Now turn your energy towards death. Now look into death face to face. Now encounter death. And to encounter death is the greatest experience in life. And if you can encounter death, you will come to know that you are deathless. To face death is the only way to know that you are deathless, that only the body dies and you never die. And once you have known it, you are ready for the journey, and when death comes, you will go laughing and dancing and singing into it. And a person who can go laughing, dancing, and singing into death prayerfully, meditatively, comes to know the greatest orgasm that is in the world. Sexual orgasm is nothing, because in sexual orgasm only a small, minute part of your life energy leaves your body, and you feel a great relaxation. In death, your whole life energy leaves the body. No sexual orgasm can be compared with that cosmic orgasm, that total orgasm that death brings to you. Don't miss death. Death is going to give you the greatest gift in life, the parting gift. But only a few people come to it because nobody is ready for it. Death takes you unawares, and you are so frightened and you are so concerned with sex that you cling to life. Do you know that it almost always happens? In the East, it has been one of the secrets to know about a person. When a person dies, if he is clinging too much to life and is still interested in sex, he will die with an erection. That shows that the poor fellow died without any readiness. Even in death, he was full of sex fantasies. It happens almost always. Unless you have become a great meditator, it is going to happen to you too that while dying you will fantasize about sex. You will be making love, at least in your imagination. This is no way to die. This is very insulting to death and insulting to God and very insulting to yourself. Let sex disappear. It is time. Relax into non-sexuality. Non-sexuality will make you centered. Stop chasing women and start chasing yourself. You cannot do both. And get ready. Death may knock you down any moment. One never knows when it is coming. Prepare. Allow yourself to enjoy meditation as much as possible. Transform your sexual energy into meditative energy. It is the same energy, just the direction changes. It no longer flows downward and outward. It starts flowing inward and upward. And this same energy opens the bud of the golden flower in you. This is the whole secret. Now you have come naturally to the right point, and you're asking me, what should I do? You're asking for some recipes to again create the sexuality which is disappearing. You're asking for some props, for some help, so that you can go on playing the same foolish game even in your old age. It is good when you are young because then you are foolish. It's very rare to become alert and aware and meditative when you are young. If you can become, you have a rare genius. But if you cannot become meditative even in old age, then you are just stupid, utterly stupid. It is good to fool around when you are young. That foolishness is part of growth. It helps you. The woman or the man outside becomes the mirror. They reflect you. They help you to see who you are. Love is very revealing. But finally one has to come to see oneself within, not in a mirror. Even the mirror has to be dropped. One has to be alone. And the purity of aloneness is infinite. And the bliss of aloneness is eternal. Now the moment has come. Just let this interest in women go, and suddenly you will find another interest arising in you. It is almost simultaneous, the interest in meditation. And then you can have the last gift that life can give to you, a meditative death, a death in satori, in samadhi, in ecstasy. And you will know the total orgasmic experience. That experience is enough. Then you will never be coming back into life, into the body, into this prison. In the East, this has been our goal, how not to be born again, because this whole process of being born and dying again and again is a boring process. It is utterly futile. In the final analysis, it is just a dream, and not even a nice dream, but a nightmare. My suggestion to you is, you have lived your life, you have seen the pleasures of the body, you have looked into relationships, and you have learned whatsoever was to be learned from it. Now it is time to turn inwards. The last question for this chapter, what is philosophy? I don't know, and I don't think that anybody else knows either. Philosophy is a useless passion. I'm using Jean-Paul Sartre's words. He says, man is a useless passion. I say man is not a useless passion, but philosophy is. You ask me, what is philosophy? Nobody has ever defined it. It has remained vague. Not that definitions have not been given to it. Millions of definitions have been given, but the definition is still missing. Each philosopher gives a definition, and others contradict it. It is a game enjoying the gymnastics of logic. It is logic chopping. It is like chess, a very intellectual game, very absorbing, but there is no conclusion in it. It is non-conclusive. The game continues from generation to generation. Slowly, slowly, out of this game, two things have arisen. One is science, the other is religion. Science is objective, religion is subjective. Science is experimental, religion is experiential. Philosophy is neither. It is just hanging in a limbo between the two. And slowly, slowly it is disappearing, because that which is objective is being taken by science every day, and that which is subjective has already been taken by religion. Nothing is left for philosophy. So now modern philosophy only goes on thinking about language analysis. The philosophers are asking the most absurd questions because they have lost all the meaningful questions. Either those questions have been covered by science or by religion. Philosophy is becoming more and more empty. They cannot find even their own questions now. So either they take questions from science and they think about them, or they take questions from religion and they think about them. Their questions are borrowed. Philosophy is a dying phenomenon. It will not be a surprise if one day you suddenly come to know that philosophy has died. It is on its deathbed, and you can go to any university and you can see philosophy on its deathbed. But why have you asked the question? That is more relevant, more important to think about. I'm not teaching philosophy here. What I'm saying has nothing to do with philosophy. It's absolutely experimental and experiential. My effort is to create a scientific religion, the psychology of the Buddhas. So I'm giving you experiments, and I'm giving you possibilities to experience something that you have not experienced yet. This is a lab, a workshop. We are bent upon doing something. I mean business here. Philosophy is not the concern at all. I am very anti-philosophic, and I avoid philosophy because it is playing with shadows, thoughts, speculation. And you can go on playing infinitely, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. There is no end to it. One word creates another word, one theory creates another theory, and you can go on and on and on. In 5,000 years, much philosophy has existed in the world, and to no purpose at all. But there are people who have the philosophic attitude, and if you are one of them, please drop it, otherwise you and your energy will be lost in a desert. I will tell you about the 4 stages of philosophy in 4 stories. The first stage, the first story. One of my favorite stories is that of a boy and girl in New England, where sleigh riding is popular during the cold winters. While riding one Sunday afternoon, bundled up in their blankets, the girl snuggled up to the boy and said, "Johnny, I'm cold." Johnny looked over to her and said, "I'm cold too, Jane. Why not tuck in the blankets?" So Jane pulled the blankets closer, but pretty soon she moved even closer to Johnny and said, "My hands are still cold." He didn't pay much attention to her, and soon she nudged him with her elbow and said, "Johnny, did you hear me? My hands are cold, and besides, nobody loves me." This time he looked over to her and said, "Jane, remember that God loves you, and you can always sit on your hands to keep them warm." This is the first stage of being philosophic. The second stage, the second story. A study group of philosophers had been meeting for years to study the Talmud. One member of the group had a pernicious habit of sipping a little brandy during the meeting. One night he drank just a little more than usual and became quite tipsy. His companions decided to teach him a lesson. While he was in his drunken stupor, they carried him off to the cemetery and laid him prone among the tombstones. After a while, the philosopher woke up. He looked about him, frightened and aghast. Then he started to reason, "Am I alive or am I dead? If I'm alive, what could I be doing here in the graveyard on top of the graves? And if I'm dead, then why do I feel that I must go to the bathroom immediately?" This is the second stage of philosophy. And the third stage, the third story. Professor Steinberg had been having his lunch in the same Lower East Side restaurant for 20 years. Every day he left his office at noon, went to the restaurant, and ordered a bowl of chicken soup. Never a change. But one day the professor called the waiter back after receiving his soup. "Yes, Professor?" inquired the waiter. "Waiter, please taste the soup." "What do you mean, taste the soup?" "For 20 years you've been eating the same chicken soup here, every day, yes? Has it ever been any different?" The professor ignored the waiter's comments. "Please, taste this soup," he repeated. "Professor, what's the matter with you? I know what the chicken soup tastes like." "Taste the soup," the professor demanded. All right, I'll taste. Where's the spoon?" "Aha!" cried the professor. "This is the third stage." And the fourth stage, the fourth story. A woman went to a philosophic psychologist for treatment of her delusion that she was covered with feathers. After a few sessions, the philosopher said to her, "I feel that we have gotten to the root of this problem through our discussions and analysis, and it is now behind us. What do you think, Mrs. Smith?" "Oh," said Mrs. Smith, "I think we have had some wonderful sessions, and I do feel that the problem has been taken care of. But," she added, "the only thing that bothers me now is what I'm going to do with these feathers." She raised her hand to her shoulders and began to brush, and the psychologist, the philosopher, suddenly jumped back. "Now, hold on just a minute, Mrs. Smith. Don't brush those feathers onto me. This is the fourth stage." Slowly, philosophy becomes a kind of madness. It leads you into neurosis because philosophy is a mind phenomenon. Science has taken the body, religion has taken the soul, only the mind is left for philosophy. And mind is potential madness. If you go on too much into the mind, you will be moving slowly towards madness. It is very rare to find a philosopher who is sane, and vice versa is also true. It is very rare to find a madman who is not a philosopher. I'm not teaching philosophy here because I'm teaching no mind. And if you become a no-mind, all philosophy disappears. Christian, Hindu, Mohammedan, Buddhist, all philosophies disappear. Hegelian, Kantian, Russellian, all philosophies disappear. If the mind disappears, where can philosophy exist? Where can it grow? Mind is the breeding ground of philosophy. Let the mind disappear. And the beauty is, when there is no mind and nobody to philosophize and nothing to philosophize about, one comes to know. Philosophy is the blind man's effort. It is said philosophy is a blind man in a dark room on a dark night, searching for a black cat which is not there. Now we will move on to the next chapter. This audio adaptation is based on the original book, The Secret of Secrets. If you are finding this journey valuable, you can support my future audio projects by trying a free 30-day trial of Audible. Thank you for listening.